Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to call the mayor's briefing for 12/6/2022 to order. Also present on Zoom, we have Councilor Kushain, Councilor Tillotson, Denise from the city clerk's office, the city clerk, Keith Rattel, Lee Puya, and Shane Brooks. Mayor, you're all set. You all set, Mayor?
Thank you, President Laflamme, our viewing audience, and members, astute members of the City Council. I have some orders in front of you for your consideration, and I'll get right to business with Mayor's Order 1. It's the appropriation of $10,015.17 to the following named engineering salary accounts from the available funds in the DPW highway salary account for maintenance man. As you can see from the background information, one of our aides, I believe it was the senior engineering aide, is entitled to this contractually, and this accounts for $10,015, and that's his entitlement for vacation, personal time, and a portion of his unused sick leave. Any questions about Mayor's Order 1? Thank you for your consideration. Mayor's Order 2, order that the City Council accept the Massachusetts Division of Ecological Restoration grant in the amount of $2 million to the City of Chicopee. Said grant is to be used for the dam removal from the Abbey Memorial Brook Restoration Project as accepted in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53A. As you can see from the background information, and I believe that our city planner, Lee Pouliot, is joining us remotely. The city has been very fortunate to receive a grant in the amount of $2 million, and this will help us tremendously with our dam removal project. It's no secret to the viewing audience that the Bemis Pond Dam is unstable and needed to be removed. It's being done in phases, and we're very fortunate that the Massachusetts Division of Ecological Restoration has graciously given a grant to the City of Chicopee, and it's the second one for a total of $2.1 million. Lee, do you want to elaborate a little bit?
Sure. Thank you, Mayor. There are actually two grant acceptances from the Division of Ecological Restoration before the council this evening. The first one is for $2 million, and that is funding that DER has specifically allocated to phase 1 of the Abbey Brook project, which is the removal of Lower Bemis Pond Dam and the restoration of Abbey Brook from the upper dam to the footprint of the lower dam. That project is nearing the completion of all of its permitting, and we're hopeful that we'll be in a position to put construction out to bid in January or February of 2023 and see construction begin in the spring. So the $2 million is DER's ongoing commitment to seeing this project move forward with the city. DER has been our partner on this project going back to 2018, and they have annually given the city funding to continue design and engineering, which resulted in this being a priority project for the division. So this $2 million is representative of the work that we've done collaboratively with DER and their commitment to assisting the city see this project through. The second grant, Mayor, forgive me for jumping on your agenda.
That's okay, it's Mayor's Order 3.
Is an additional $100,000. This is the third $100,000 grant that's been an annual commitment for DER, and that $100,000 will go primarily towards assisting with design and engineering work for phase 2 of the project, which will include addressing the Front Street culvert and the Chicopee Electric Light culvert that brings Abbey Brook to its confluence with the Chicopee River.
Thank you. Any questions about Mayor's Order 2 and also Mayor's Order 3? Sure. George Bellacare.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I just want to give a shout out to Lee and his team for getting this grant for us. This is really a fantastic grant, and this is going to really help us to get this project going. So, Mayor and Lee, thank you very much for your help with this. This is really helpful. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Any other questions or comments? Thank you for your consideration. I'll read Mayor's Order 3 quickly. Order that the City Council accept the Massachusetts Division of Ecological Restoration grant in the amount of $100,000 to the City of Chicopee. Said grant is to be used towards the Abbey Brook Restoration / Bemis Pond Removal Project and is accepted in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53A. Lee just explained that grant to you. Again, that's been a commitment over the last 3 years of $100,000. And we'll graciously, with your approval tonight, accept that grant as well. Move on to Mayor's Order 4. And, thank you, City Planner Lee Pouliot, for your comments. Mayor's Order 4. Order that the City Council accept the fiscal year 2022 Community Compact IT grant in the amount of $133,391 from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Community Compact Cabinet Information Technology Grant Program. Said amount will be used to refresh the primary cluster server infrastructure and replication, and it is accepted in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53A. So I know that Andrew Vernon, I don't believe, is joining us remotely, and he was not available, but I can say that we're very excited about the grant. The IT department is looking to refresh the cluster of server infrastructure and replication environment. The focus will be on the primary production environment using this grant. Any questions about the grant? Well, thank you for your consideration. Move on to Mayor's Order 5 is the appropriation of $47,515.86 to the following named account. Following named information technology salaries and computer technician, $21,310, system analyst, $26,205, for a total $47,515.86 from the funds in the following named IT specialty accounts, and you'll see it's coming from software upgrades and service contracts. So according to, it's no secret that IT really is the driving force behind what we do today in every single office in City Hall, and not to mention the entire country, if not the world. Our IT department has grown exponentially over the years, and it's been brought to my attention that we need a couple of positions in the IT department. And it was inevitable that this was coming. You look at what they're running with. You do have a flow chart of the current positions. I can say that one of the positions, like I said, is a systems analyst. That's being requested. I am in favor of it. The current staff is providing the support. Two of those people will be retiring in the coming years. This position will allow for long-term transition of support. It will also allow for the dedication to accounts payable and time and attendance. One of the most important parts and aspects of the IT department is to ensure that people receive their paychecks and that they're correct. So this person will help tremendously with that transition, as people obviously have fulfilled their duties and obligations to the city and are getting closer and closer to retirement. Sure. Joel.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate you bringing this forward. I think it's well overdue. As to your point, the investment in IT infrastructure, particularly for governments over the last couple of years, has been really important for the continuity of services. My biggest question looking at this is whether or not it's enough. Looking at a $47,000 annual salary for someone in IT to start, given the competitive labor market. Have you had a chance to talk with the HR director about that, and why did we settle on that number?
Yes, if he's actually right here. So Paul Winspear is here, and I believe this is an entry-level position. And it was, sure, and it was created that way because that's what we're hopeful to attract. is an entry-level position, and like every other department in the city, as mayor, I look for us to have the opportunity to allow for advancement, and that's really the goal. Bring in people at the entry level and have them have that opportunity for success up that ladder, just like in every other department here in City Hall. And I know that the HR Director, Paul Winspear, can elaborate. Go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, one of the things that I can add to this is that the amount that's being requested is not actually what the salary is. So the amount that's being requested is just to account to how much the salary would account for from the time of inception or the time that we look to acquire the individual to the end of the fiscal year. With respect to the positions that are there, they are the salaries that are already budgeted and accounted for the other positions that already exist. It is an extension of such, one to account for continuity and transition of services, and another to account for coverage with areas respective to public safety.
So, Paul, you feel comfortable that it's competitive with the labor market, the salary?
I do feel comfortable that it's competitive at this time based on internal equity.
Thank you.
And please understand there's a second position as well. That was the system analyst, the computer technician, like Paul just mentioned. That's the city MIS department, has also been tasked with taking on technology support for the public safety complex. An additional computer technician is needed to effectively provide that support for all the teams within public safety. So there's two positions, and like Paul had mentioned, this just covers salary to get us through to the end of the year to our next budget. Any other questions? Sure, Del Marino.
So what is the actual annual salary? I'm not seeing the full number on any of this for both of those positions.
Paul, do you have that? It would be double this number. I believe this is for 6 months for each one. Correct, Paul?
Yes. That would be the starting salary. That's the starting step of that pay grade.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
And thank you for your consideration. Mayor's Order 6, it's the mayor's appropriation of $50,000 to the following named account: Building Special Account for Emergency Demolition, Emergency Security from the available funds in the Stabilization Fund. As you can see from the background information, the city of Chicopee, this is all related to the Cabottville project or property that we do not own. But in what had happened, let me just get to the background information. When that building was deemed unsafe by the building commissioner, I don't know if he's online joining us remotely. Are you there, Frank? Or
He's
oh,
right here.
Frank is here. I didn't see you. The building commissioner is here, and I'm going back to say that in, Frank, the date when we started this? In October, the city had to implement a fire watch that lasted for about a month. And what we've done is we have a 770,000 square foot empty shell that frankly could be a major problem here in the city of Chicopee without security. The city, in an emergency order through court, has chosen to secure that building and provide security. We will be, I believe, we're going to court again for reimbursement. And now the current agreement with the current owner, which is Perkins LLC, they will now be on the hook to pay for security moving forward. And the city of Chicopee is looking to recoup this $50,000 that we've spent to secure the building for the past two plus months. This right here is the appropriation, and correct me if I'm wrong, Frank, to pay the existing bill. The building department was paying it out of their budget, and that line item has been depleted. So therefore, we're asking today for you to supplement that line item so that we can pay the bill. And we do feel very confident as a law department. I know our city solicitor is here, that we'll be able to recoup that money from the current owner. Any questions about Mayor's Order 6? Sure, Mary Beth.
Is there a judge's order in regards to this? Is there a judge's order? Because you're talking about going to court. So did a judge make any orders in regards to who's responsible for what moving forward?
So Marshal Moriarty can answer that. I can tell you that we were in an emergency state to secure that building, and we foot the bill.
Right.
We are now trying to recoup that money that we've spent for security for just over 2.5 months. And from the point moving forward, the agreement we have in place with the current owner is that they will be providing security moving forward. So this will cover that expense. And I don't know if there's been a judgment yet, Marshall, for the
No, there is no judgment. There is a court order. There's a 14-point court order regarding various aspects of 165 Front Street or 4 Perkins or Silverbrick, however you want to describe the property. I don't want to get into detail. We're still on ongoing litigation. If the president of the city council wants us to report in an executive session, be more than happy to do that. If individual members want to come down and discuss the settlement, be more than happy to do that also. But as far as going forward, there is a court order as of November 28th that 4 Perkins, who is the property owners, will take over the cost of the security, which is 24/7. As far as the arrears are concerned, we're waiting to get a final billing from Norton Security, and all the other costs that may be involved with the city departments. Once we have that final cost and we can put a firm number on it, we are going to take a court action to see whether or not the city can be reimbursed for the expenses during the period of time. And I think, as Frank indicated, from September to November 28th.
Well, I'm glad that you're aggressive in regards to trying to get this money back to the city and to the taxpayers.
Yes.
Because this has been a complete white elephant, this particular project. It's been one problem after another, and it shouldn't be paid for on the backs of the taxpayers of Chicopee. So I'm happy that you're aggressive in regards to trying to get the money reimbursed, and I'm glad that there's some court activity in regards to trying to get this situation resolved. Thank you.
And just for clarity, please understand, Mary Beth, this was considered a safety issue by the fire chief, our building commission, and everyone else who's been involved through this process. We could not leave a 770,000 square foot shell right here in Chicopee Center leave it unsecure. We could not do that and sleep at night. And I know that the building commissioner could tell you that intimately. He has actually probably lost sleep, and the fire chief as well, knowing that that particular building could be potentially left unsecure. So we've taken action, and we're here to protect the city and its interests, and it is owned by the private sector, but my goal as mayor is to make sure we're doing the right thing. This will allow us to replenish that emergency demo fund that's been depleted to zero.
Well, thank you very much in regards to addressing the financial concerns of the city as well as the safety concerns of the city. It's unfortunate that we're in this situation.
And I'd be remiss if I didn't compliment the mayor's office, the fire department, the building department, the health department, everybody that was involved in the cooperative effort to get what I think is a very comprehensive court order, which protects the city, protects the safety and the citizens, and also gets, as far as the costs are concerned, shift the costs and the responsibility to where it should be.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Thank you. And again, there is a 14-point agreement right now that we have that we can share with members of the council if you're interested. We can get you a copy. But thank you for your consideration for Mayor's Order 6. Mayor's Order 7, order that the City Council accept the donations in the amount of $444.91 to the City of Chicopee. Said monetary and in-kind donations are received as part of the Puerto Rican Heritage Month flag raising and are accepted in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53A and 53A and a half. As you can see from the background information, there is a list of donations. Quickly go through them. I want to thank Mike Pease, my Chief of Staff, Juan Velez, Chloe Soto from my office, Brenda Lise Sapita, Andrew Melendez, and thank them for their generosity to making that event something special here in the city of Chicopee. And any questions about the donations and the reception thereof. Thank you for your consideration. Order that the City Council, Mayor's Order 8, order that the City Council accept the donation in the amount of $100 to the Chicopee Public Library. Said donation is made by David Kowalczyk Jr. in memory of Carol Jamilio Kowalczyk and is accepted in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53A Thank you for donating to our public library in remembrance of one of your loved ones. Any questions about that donation? And lastly, Mayor's Order 9, to the City Council, I do hereby notify you that I have appointed Eric Ouellette to the Planning Board for the City of Chicopee, and I ask for your confirmation. It is a new appointment. We did have an interview with Mr. Ouellette, and he seems to be a great fit with his background. I'm not sure if that was provided to you, but I'm pretty sure I did not ask him to come tonight because I know that your process is to send him to your Human Resource Subcommittee. Oh, he's here. Eric is here. Eric, we want to come up and say a quick introduction. Thank you. Thank you for your willingness to serve on the Planning Board. Eric, you can talk a little bit about your background if you'd like and introduce yourself to the councilors.
Absolutely. Yeah, so my name's Eric Ouellette. I am currently the Executive Director of the Greater Westfield Chamber of Commerce. I've been there 2 years now. I live in Chicopee, moved about a year and a half ago, and live over on Feedack Drive in Chicopee. So working with the local legislation, City Council, and with Mayor McCabe in Westfield, working on bringing businesses into the city, has obviously something I've been doing with work, and now I want to help the city that I live in, and being in Chicopee here, and becoming part of the planning board, which I did meet with the mayor and Lee a few weeks ago to chat about the position, and I thought it was a good fit, and we had a good conversation. So,
Thank you. Thank you, Eric.
thank you.
Any questions about the appointment? Thank you. And if I may, thank you again.
Thank you.
President Laflamme, if I could have a couple of minutes just for some quick updates.
Sure.
Sure. So I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome Jason Doubt as the Ward 3 School Committee member. Thanks to the City Council and School Committee on the process. We had a selection to fill that seat last week. It's good to know that we have residents who are qualified and eager to serve our community. And please know there were 3 candidates. One was Robert Lindenberg and Yvette Tootle, 3 well-qualified individuals seeking one available seat. And we're excited for this opportunity to work with Jason Doubt, who was chosen by the Committee of the Whole. So thank you for that. Thanks everyone who participated in our Christmas tree lighting. The grounds in front of City Hall were very festive and welcoming. The City Councilors, School Committee, Parks Department, Chicopee TV crew, Chicopee Fresh, Dance Dynamics, Vibe Dancing, Victoria Chapel Choir, the Chicopee Colleen and her Court, Chicopee Comp Honor Students, Chicopee Fire Department, Chicopee Police Department, our custodial staff, and other city workers really went all out to make that night very enjoyable. I don't think I missed anyone. We want to thank our sponsors and, of course, Santa Claus for making the event memorable. And I'd be remiss if I didn't take a moment to say a thank you to Chloe Soto, my special projects, communications and special projects director, for orchestrating such an amazing night. And I'll tell you what, it felt like Chicopee. Being in this auditorium with a choir up in our balcony and having a dance recital team right here on the floor and having people just understand how amazing this space is and how it's theirs. Nothing but accolades from that night, and certainly a memorable one for many. I noticed that they weren't here to see me. They were here to see Santa. Almost got pushed on the ground by a young little toddler who was very interested in getting his wish list into Santa. So it was a very successful night, and thank you for all those who participated and to our generous sponsors. We continue to make progress on the Anna Berry School project. We indicated to the Mass School Board Association that we are interested in moving the project forward and will be on their December 21st agenda for consideration. The school department is ready to answer any questions and express their need to build a new school given the roof, window, I'll say the functional obsolescence of the building and the very poor floor plan without ADA compliance. We're hopeful, and we will know after December 21st meeting where we stand. There is no, right now, commitment from the city. We're just having that opportunity to apply, and we'll find out more information on the 21st. I want to keep you in the loop. We've selected a facilities director for city buildings and grounds. It's very exciting. First name? David Rice? David Rice. I want to take a moment. First, the selection committee consisted of Brian Walker from Mass Mutual, Jay Croto, our former city messenger, Frank Laflamme, president of the city council and facilities manager at Mass Mutual, and Paul Winspear, the chief of our HR department, conducted 3 rounds of interviews. We had a number of qualified candidates. We narrowed it down to 2 finalists. An offer has been made, and we're working on closing those details for a start date at the end of December. This department will establish a work order process, increase the use of automation to service and manage our facilities, provide a documented preventative maintenance program, and address facilities needs. The director will be a working director with a number of required licenses. Thank you so much, President Laflamme and the search committee, for all their hard work in getting us a qualified, motivated director. It's my understanding that there was conversations between the HR director, Paul Winspear, and David this evening, and he is very excited and eager for this opportunity, just like all of us are. So it's a great day. We also held several public safety meetings, and traffic issues involved both reckless and impaired driving. I want to thank President Laflamme, Vice President Robert Zagorowski for representing the City Council at these meetings. We're working with the police, fire, DPW, school departments to address the speeding and traffic issues in our city, whether that involves pedestrians, school buses, students crossing streets, traffic accidents, or running red lights. A strategy is being developed, and we are all working to resolve these concerns. Additional patrols and enforcement using grants and overtime are already being utilized as we speak. We may be asking the City Council to fund some additional resources, and I can tell you that it's been noticeable. We've received phone calls that there has been an uptick. We've passed over 5,000 violations here in the city of Chicopee to date, and I can tell you the message. We're working on a public service announcement. The goal is to make everyone aware of the fact that speeding is not going to be tolerated in the city of Chicopee anymore. We had 8 neighborhood meetings in June, and the topic of discussion was speeding. We want to keep people safe. Everyone's in a rush. They need to slow down. People are losing their lives. It's very sad, and our condolences go out to the family and friends of the loved ones who, it's just not fair. And I can tell you that we're doing everything in our power to make sure that the people in Chicopee are safe. And I'll talk briefly too, if I may, a little bit about the sword game. Thanksgiving Day, what could have been potentially a major catastrophe here in the city of Chicopee. Thanks to our police department, our administrative staff at our school district, and other members of this community, a situation was de-escalated immediately, and 2 suspects were arrested, and I found out 2 days later that one of them actually had a loaded weapon at the game. And I can tell you that Chicopee is very resilient, and we're not going to let a fight between 2 individuals ruin a rivalry that dates back to 1964. 2 people will not define a community, and that type of behavior will not be tolerated. We had a roundtable meeting on Wednesday, and we discussed, last Wednesday, to discuss what we're going to do as winter sports approach on how we're going to keep those who choose to watch what I call a high school game or an extracurricular event, and frankly, participate in any event here in the city of Chicopee. Our goal is to keep you safe, and we're going to continue to do so. So there's many considerations on the table, but we're going to be implementing them as we speak, and one of them is professional development of our site directors and support staff that are going to be working at these games, identifying the emergency exits right after the national anthem at every sporting event. We're going to make sure people know where the doors are that you can leave and do it in a safe manner. Our goal is committed. We're committed as a city to keeping you safe, and we're going to take every precaution that we can. Those big rivalry games that occur between Chicopee High and Chicopee Comp, there's going to be some changes made. We're going to be vamping up police presence. We're going to ask for more volunteers or paid professionals to be at our games, and we're going to do everything we can, whether it be banning bags and backpacks, providing tickets. All these things are on the consideration. Using metal detectors, all these things are on the table for consideration. The immediate implementation has been determined by the roundtable that any student who's suspended will be banned from that game until their suspension has been served. That's going to be an ongoing list that's communicated throughout every school here in Chicopee, so they know that certain events, people who are suspended are unable to attend. That's one of the first things we're going to do, is make sure that those who are already in trouble are not able to attend the games. And secondly, like I had said, professional development for our site directors, increasing police presence. Those are things that we're implementing immediately. And the goal is, like I said, to keep you safe. And as for the other things we're considering, they have not been determined that whether we're going to do them yet. But like I had said, safety is paramount. It was a very productive meeting, and everyone understands what this is all about. And ultimately, our goal will be to make sure that these kids don't feel like they're in prison. With metal detectors at the doorways, it might be in our immediate future. As of today, they're considerations. But again, whatever it takes to keep you safe is our goal. So thank you for listening to me. I won't get into the holiday season because we have one more meeting, and I appreciate your time. And I know we have a very special guest here, our own Senator Eric Lesser, who's, I'm sure, ready to speak after I'm done. So thank you for your consideration to the mayor's orders, and have a great meeting.
Thank you. We'll take a 5-minute recess. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to call to order the December 6, 2022 City Council meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now we'll take a moment of silence for those that protect us home and abroad. Thank you. We have on Zoom tonight for tonight's meeting, we have our city clerk, Keith Rattel, his assistant, Denise Noble. We have Councilor Tillotson, Councilor Cushane, Councilor Brooks. We also have in the audience, we have our school department liaison, Sandra Perret. Clerk Rattel, could you please call the roll?
President Laflamme?
Here.
Roy?
Here.
Tillotson?
Here.
Zagorowski?
Here.
McCullough?
Here.
Brooks?
Here.
Lopez?
Here.
Councilor Lopez?
Here. Yeah, it's on.
Valkir?
Here.
Crumpets?
Here.
Dobis?
Here.
Cushane?
Here.
Labrie?
Here.
Piniac Costello?
Here.
13 present.
And the motion passes. Thank you. In compliance with the open meeting law, the City of Chicopee is broadcasting live and for future broadcast this meeting on Chicopee TV. I would like to mention that we have our Senator Eric Lesser here who would like to speak for 10 minutes. So I'd like to, before we go into the other part of the public input, after public input, Senator Lesser would like to speak to him on his behalf as he leaves the Senate. So I need a roll call to allow him to speak for approximately 10 minutes.
Motion to suspend the rules to allow Senator Lesser to speak for 10 minutes.
Motion made and second to suspend the rules to allow Senator Eric Lesser to speak tonight at public input. Roll call, please.
President Laflamme?
Yes.
Roy?
Yes.
Tillotson?
Yes.
Zagorowski?
Yes.
McCullough?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Lopez?
Yes.
Valkir?
Yes.
Crumpets?
Yes.
Dobis?
Yes.
Cushane?
Yes.
Labrie?
Yes.
Piniac Costello?
Yes.
13 yes.
And the motion passes. Is anyone in the audience video or audio taping this meeting? Please state your name and reason for doing so. Seeing none, we will move into public input. Public input is limited to 3 minutes or less. There will be no discussion of collective bargaining or personal attacks. Is anyone in the audience here for public input? Just state your name. You know the routine.
And the address.
And address for public record. Thank you.
Lisa Bienvenue, 34 Everett Street. Trust but verify means that a responsible person always verifies everything before committing themselves to a common business with anyone, even if the other party seems completely trustworthy. There's been a lot of talk about 350 Memorial Drive, and I know it's on the agenda again about the subcommittees, pros and cons and the potential uses, and that'll all come out when you have the meeting. But it's been a little nebulous about the money. There's been questions asked about it, but the answers have always been, it's ESSER funds, it won't be city money, it's ESSER funds. Well, I put on the desk of all of the counselors that are in chamber and one for the clerk, some information that I have. So in October, I did a public record request of the interim superintendent asking for documentation of the provisional approval to use ESSER funds from DESE. And that letter is the second thing in there, and what he said was he can't create a record, he's not required to create a record that doesn't exist, which to me was an answer. He did not have documentation of prior approval or a provisional approval to use ESSER funds for this. So I know the talk has gone on, but we still haven't gotten that everyone is saying this is a no-brainer for the city because it's ESSER funds that are going to be used and it's not taxpayers' dollars. So I emailed the Chicopee liaison at DESE for grants, and the top thing is the response that I got from Desi Karova, and her first name is D-E-S-S-I. I'm assuming it's pronounced Desi, not like D-E-S-E, for the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, who says, and I asked not specifically about 350 Memorial Drive, but about using the money, and she said, I understand that the Chicopee School Committee has requested that the City Council approve a plan to make such a purchase, but since the Federal Grants Program Office of DESE does not have a written application on file for any such purchase from the district, we're unable to comment. Any plan to use ESSER funds for such a purpose would require our prior approval. And I want to make sure that the City Council understands that. The school committee, the school department may be saying that they can use ESSER funds. They have no approval to use the ESSER funds for that purchase.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Thank you very much. Is there anyone else for public input? Seeing none, Senator Lesser, would you like to speak? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. President, through you to the members. I appreciate the opportunity to speak and to come visit the Chicopee City Council. It's certainly not my intention to talk for 10 minutes. I'm going to be brief. I really just wanted to come by and say thank you. Most importantly, and first and foremost, I want to say thank you to the people of Chicopee for the honor of representing them for the last 8 years, the last 4 terms in the state Senate. It's truly been the professional honor of my life to get up every day and think about how we can invest in Chicopee, support Chicopee, help Western Mass, and through that, of course, our entire Commonwealth. And I wanted to just take a personal moment to thank the members of the Chicopee City Council. All familiar faces. We've worked together on quite a lot of really great initiatives over the years. Along with our really incredible broader delegation that represents both Chicopee and Western Mass at the State House. And just thinking back, some of the memories, the work and the collaborations we did over the Student Opportunity Act, the work we did on 3 economic development bills, including helping support the cleanup of the Uniroyal site, helping support so many job training programs at Chicopee Comp across the Chicopee school system. I'm thinking about the dog park. I'll come back for the opening of the dog park, Mayor, and all the work we've done to get funding for that. Of course, the work we did together on the food bank project and the new distribution facility for the food bank, the senior center, and the funding we were able to secure to help unlock that project and help make sure that that match came, and the ongoing work we did day in and day out to support Westover, to protect Westover Air Reserve Base for Chicopee, to protect the federal assets and the state assets there, and of course to promote and protect our veterans. But honestly, most importantly, and what I've appreciated the most is really just working with all of you and each of you, both on specific projects to your wards, in your own areas of expertise and interest, and also collectively for the whole city. And I do want to, in particular, thank the mayor. We did a lot of work together under difficult circumstances through COVID, and I really do appreciate him and his leadership and his whole team's leadership. I see Mike Pease here, his chief of staff. I really want to thank you, Mike, for your work and for your partnership. I want to thank President Laflamme, who's been a great partner as well. And I'd be remiss if I didn't give a special thank you to someone who was really at the center of our strategy around Chicopee and so much of the work we did in Chicopee for the last six plus years, and that's our district director and deputy chief of staff, Councilor McAuliffe. So really appreciate, Joel, all the work you've done in your partnership and friendship. And I want to thank Jennifer Metch from my office, who's also, I know, worked very closely with many of you as well. So no announcements on what I'm doing next or anything like that. I'm not moving. I'm staying local. So you'll see me around, and I'm only a phone call away, and certainly don't I will not be hard to reach, so I certainly intend to stick around and continue to work with everyone and be part of all the exciting things Chicopee has going on. And I really just wanted to come by and say thank you. So thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At the next meeting, Representative Wagner will be here to speak too. Thank you, Senator. Is there anyone else for public input? Seeing none, I'll take a motion to return to the regular order of business.
Motion to return to regular order of business.
Motion made and second that we return to the regular order of business. Roll call, please.
President Laflamme?
Yes.
Roy?
Yes.
Tillotson?
Yes.
Zagorowski?
Yes.
McAuliffe?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Lopez?
Yes.
Valkir?
Yes.
Crumpets?
Yes.
Dobis?
Yes.
Kushein?
Yes.
Labrie?
Yes.
Piniac Costello?
Yes.
13 yes.
And the motion passes.
Motion to place the documents given by the person during public input on file.
Motion made and second to place on file the documents given at public input. Roll call, please.
President Laflamme?
Yes.
Roy?
Yes.
Tillotson?
Yes.
Zagorowski?
Yes.
McAuliffe?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Lopez?
Yes.
Valkir?
Yes.
Crumpets?
Yes.
Dobis?
Yes.
Kushein?
Yes.
Labrie?
Yes.
Piniac Costello?
Yes.
13 yes.
And the motion passes. City Clerk, do we have any communications?
We do have one.
Go ahead.
Okay. Attorney Garvey, on behalf of Verizon Wireless, we request a continuance of the hearing regarding the application for an antenna installation on the utility pole located at 56 Foss Avenue for another 60 days, with the understanding that the matter will be on the agenda for the next City Council Zoning Committee meeting in January of 2023. In the meantime, Verizon Wireless will explore the feasibility of pole P identified in the documents I sent on November 15th. Electronic copies of those materials are attached to this email for your convenience. Thank you, Michael Fenton.
Thank you. Councilor Balakir.
Okay. Motion to accept the communication and refer to item number 27.
Motion made and second that the communication be received and referred to item number 27. Roll call, please.
President Laflamme?
Yes.
Roy?
Yes.
Tillotson?
Yes.
Zagorowski?
Yes.
McAuliffe?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Lopez?
Yes.
Valkir?
Yes.
Crumpets?
Yes.
Dobis?
Yes.
Kushein?
Yes.
Labrie?
Yes.
Piniac Costello?
Yes.
13 yes.
And the motion passes. City Clerk, any minutes?
No minutes this evening.
Thank you. Seeing none, we'll go into mayor's order, please.
Order that the sum of $10,015.17 be hereby appropriate to the following named engineering salary accounts. Senior engineering aid, $2,147.19. SIC 5 Act, $7,867.98 for a total of $10,015.17. Said amounts be taken from the available funds in the DPW highway salary account for maintenance man.
Councilor Brooks.
Make a motion that the mayor's order be received and passed through all stages on the written recommendation of the mayor.
Motion made and second that the motion be received and passed through all stages on a written recommendation of the mayor. On the motion, please.
On the motion, these are simply contractual obligations of an employee who's leaving.
Thank you. Any other comments from Zoom? Any comments from the floor? Seeing none, roll call.
President Laflamme?
Yes.
Roy?
Yes.
Tillotson?
Yes.
Zagorowski?
Yes.
McAuliffe?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Lopez?
Yes.
Valkir?
Yes.
Crumpets?
Yes.
Dobus?
Yes.
Kushein?
Yes.
Labrie?
Yes.
Piniac Costello?
Yes.
13 yes.
And the motion passes.
Order that the City Council accept the Massachusetts Division of Ecological Restoration grant in the amount of $2 million to the City of Chicopee. Said grant is to be used for dam removal of the Abbey Brook Restoration Project and is to be accepted in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53A.
Councilor Lopez.
Motion that the mayor's order be received and passed through all stages of the in recommendation of the mayor.
Motion made and seconded that the motion be received and passed through all stages on a written recommendation of the mayor. On the motion, please.
This is $2 million that was granted to us in our project to restore the Lower Abbey Brook Bemis Pond. This motion and the next motion are both monies granted, and this is just something that we have to do to accept grants.
Thank you. Any comments from Zoom? Any comments from the floors? Seeing none, roll call.
President Laflamme?
Yes.
Roy?
Yes.
Tillotson?
Yes.
Zagorowski?
Yes.
McAuliffe?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Lopez?
Yes. Yes.
Valkir?
Yes.
Crumpets?
Yes.
Dobus?
Yes.
Kushein?
Yes.
Labrie?
Yes.
Piniac Costello?
Yes.
13 yes.
And the motion passes.
Order that the City Council accept the Massachusetts Division of Ecological Restoration grant in the amount of $100,000 to the City of Chicopee. Said grant is to be used towards the Abbey Brook Restoration Bemis Pond Dam Removal Project and is accepted in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53A.
Councilor Kushein.
Motion that the mayor's order be received and passed through all stages on the written recommendation of the mayor.
Motion made and seconded that the motion be received and passed through all stages on a written recommendation of the mayor. On the motion, please.
On the motion, Councilor Lopez already spoke to it.
Thank you. Anyone on Zoom? Anyone on the floor? Seeing none, roll call.
President Laflamme?
Yes.
Roy?
Yes.
Tillotson?
Yes.
Zagorowski?
Yes.
McAuliffe?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Lopez?
Yes.
Valkir?
Yes.
Crumpets?
Yes.
Dobus?
Yes.
Kushein?
Yes.
Labrie?
Yes.
Piniac Costello?
Yes.
13 yes.
And the motion passes.
Or that the City Council accept the FY 2022 Community Compact IT grant in the amount of $133,391 from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Community Compact Cabinets Information Technology Grant Program. Said grant will be used to refresh the primary cluster server infrastructure and replication, and it is accepted in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53A.
Councilor Zagorowski.
A motion that the mayor's order be received and the grant accepted.
Motion made and seconded that the motion be received and passed through all stages on the written recommendation of the mayor and the grant accepted this evening. On the motion.
On the motion, the city's IT department has applied for this grant, and it will be used to refresh our primary cluster server infrastructure and replication.
Thank you. Any comments from Zoom? Any comments from the floor? Seeing none, roll call.
President Laflamme?
Yes.
Roy?
Yes.
Tillotson?
Yes.
Zagorowski?
Yes.
McAuliffe?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Lopez?
Yes.
Valkir?
Yes.
Crumpets?
Yes.
Dobus?
Yes.
Kushein?
Yes.
Labrie?
Yes.
Piniac Costello?
Yes.
13 yes.
And the motion passes.
Order that the sum of $47,515.86 be hereby appropriate to the following named information technology salaries. Computer technician, the $21,310.80. Systems analyst, $26,205.06. for a total of $47,515.86. Said amounts be taken from the available funds in the following named information technology special accounts. Software upgrades, $21,310.80. Service contracts, $26,205.06 for a total of $47,515.86.
Counselor Bellacare.
Motion that the mayor's order be received and passed through all stages on the written recommendation of the mayor.
Motion made and seconded that the motion be received and passed through all stages on the written recommendation of the mayor. On the motion, please.
On the motion, we've been informed that we need a couple of positions in the IT department, and these are going to be a couple of entry-level positions. Basically, the salaries that we're looking for are going to be appropriated to pay through the end of the fiscal year, 6 months. There's a systems analyst. A second systems analyst is being requested, and also a computer technician. The city MIS department has been asked to take on technology support the public safety complex, and these monies are going to be coming from software upgrades and service contracts, and they are needed for the IT department. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments from Zoom? Any comments from the floor? Roll call, please.
President Laflamme?
Yes.
Roy?
Yes.
Tillotson?
Yes.
Zagorowski?
Yes.
McCullough?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Lopez?
Yes.
Valkir?
Yes.
Crumpets?
Yes.
Dobis?
Yes.
Kushein?
Yes.
Labrie?
Yes.
Piniac Costello?
Yes.
13 yes.
And the motion passes.
Order that the sum of $50,000 being hereby appropriated to the following named account: Building Special Account for Emergency Demolition / Emergency Security. Said amounts be taken from the available funds in the Stabilization Fund.
Counselor Tillotson.
Motion that the mayor's order be approved past through all stages upon a written recommendation of the mayor.
Motion made and seconded that the motion be received and passed through all stages on a written recommendation of the mayor. On the motion, please.
On a motion, this has to do with Silver Brick. There was the monies that were in the building department have been used up, and in order to have the money available in case there's something else that needs to be demolished immediately, they would have some money in that account. So that's what this $50,000 is going to be used for.
Thank you. Any comments from Zoom? Any comments from the floor? Roll call, please.
President Laflamme?
Yes.
Roy?
Yes.
Tillotson?
Yes.
Zagorowski?
Yes.
McCullough?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Lopez?
Yes.
Valkir?
Yes.
Crumpets?
Yes.
Dobis?
Yes.
Kushein?
Yes.
Labrie?
Yes.
Piniac Costello?
Yes.
13 yes.
And the motion passes.
Order that the city council accept the donations in the amount of $444.91 to the city of Chicopee. Said monetary and in-kind donations are received as part of the Puerto Rican Heritage Month flag raising and are accepted in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53A and 53A and 1/2.
Counselor Bree.
Yes, motion that the mayor's order be received and donations be accepted this evening.
Motion made and seconded that the motion be received and passed through all stages on a written recommendation of mayor, and the donation accepted this evening. On the motion, please.
On the motion, we had $279.38 on cash contributions and $165.53 for in-kind service. So I expect that this should pass, and we should accept this donation tonight.
Thank you. Any comments from Zoom? Any comments from the floor? Roll call, please.
President Laflamme?
Yes.
Roy?
Yes.
Tillotson?
Yes.
Zagorowski?
Yes.
McCullough?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Lopez?
Yes.
Valkir?
Yes.
Crumpets?
Yes.
Dobis?
Yes.
Kushein?
Yes.
Labrie?
Yes.
Piniac Costello?
Yes.
13 yes.
And the motion passes.
Order that the city council accept the donation in the amount of $100 to the Chicopee Public Library. Said donation is made by David Kowalczyk in memory of Carol Kowalczyk and is accepted in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53A.
Counselor Roy.
Yeah, motion that the mayor's order be received, passed through all stages this evening, and the donation accepted.
Motion made and second that the motion be received and passed through all stages on a written recommendation of the mayor and the donation accepted this evening. On the motion.
On the motion, this is a personal donation made by David Kowalski in memory of Carol Gimolo Kowalski for the purpose of the public library.
Thank you. Any comments from the floor? Counselor Balakir.
Yeah, thank you. It's great to get these donations. If we could kindly send a letter of thanks out, appreciated. Thank you.
Will do. Comments from Zoom? Roll call, please.
President Laflamme?
Yes.
Roy?
Yes.
Tillotson?
Yes.
Zagorowski?
Yes.
McCullough?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Lopez?
Yes.
Valkir?
Yes.
Crumpets?
Yes.
Dobis?
Yes.
Kushein?
Yes.
Labrie?
Yes.
Piniac Costello?
Yes.
13 yes.
And the motion passes.
We have the mayoral appointment of Eric Willett as a member of the planning board.
Counselor Crampets.
Motion that the mayor's order be received and sent to the Human Resources Subcommittee for a public hearing.
Motion made and seconded that the mayor's order be received and sent to the
Human Resources.
Resource Committee for a public hearing. Please, Jim, hold on a minute, and be approved this at the meeting. On the motion.
Yeah, this is a new appointment, and we typically review them at the Human Resources Committee meeting.
Thank you. Any comments from the floor? Counselor Douglas.
Thank you, Mr. President. I look forward to meeting this individual in committee. He seems qualified, but I just wanted to say that for the planning board in general, I hope that we seek some people who are willing to be just more independent. That's my complaint of the planning board in general, and there's some good members. I understand it's a volunteer board, but I feel that the planning board should be asking more questions on some of these developments, and I just hope that we look for that when we interview candidates in committee. So that's all I wanted to say. Nothing against this individual. I've never met this man before, and I appreciate him willing to put his name in to serve the city of Chicopee. But I just hope in the future, that's my personal ask of the planning board, is that they're more independent of the planning department, that they ask questions, and that we have a more rigorous process. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor McAuliffe.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to thank the mayor for offering someone to serve on this committee and for someone, this individual, for willing to serve. And unlike my colleague to my left, I hope that whoever continues to be appointed will continue to uphold that tradition of upholding the law and acting within the legal authority of the planning board. And so I hope that the Human Resources Committee will evaluate that individual on that grounds only. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the floor? Any comments from Zoom? Roll call, please.
Just a comment to the Human Resource Chair. They might want to check with the mayor's office on an expiration date. This was presented without an expiration date, and so they may want to amend it in committee to include whatever that may be.
Thank you.
President Laflamme.
Yes.
Roy.
Yes.
Tillotson.
Yes.
Zagorowski.
Yes.
McCullough.
Yes.
Brooks.
Yes.
Lopez.
Yes.
Valkir.
Yes.
Crumpets.
Yes.
Dobis.
Yes.
Kushein.
Yes.
Labrie.
Yes.
Piniac Costello.
Yes.
13 yes.
And the motion passes. Just for note, the chief of staff for the mayor is here. He took note of that, and he'll make sure it's corrected. Thank you. Continue, please.
We have a favorable report from the Public Works Committee. Be it ordered that the Public Works Subcommittee meet with the mayor and the DPW superintendent to discuss overgrowth of city property, particularly residents' concerns of overgrowth of downtown Chicopee.
Councilor Crampets.
Motion that the report be approved and placed on file tonight.
Motion made and second that the Public Works Committee report be received and placed on file. On the motion and approved.
Yes, this was submitted by Councilors Laflamme and Brooks. Basically, I'll let them speak in a moment, but With the overgrowth, the recommendation was DPW work with the mayor for overtime to try and keep up with it, and also investigate additional resources such as the Sheriff's Department, ROCA, et cetera. And I'll let the makers of the order speak.
Thank you. I'll let Councilor Brooks do it so I don't have to go through a roll call. Councilor Brooks.
Yeah, Councilor Laflamme and I, or President Laflamme and I rather, went out on a few occasions and looked at some of the real problem areas in the downtown. And certainly it's indicative of a larger issue of people just disregarding their responsibility of maintaining their personal property or business properties. And it has to change, because we're never going to get to the point that we all talk about of the revitalization of the downtown, the improvement of some of the storefronts, without having additional resources help that. And that includes code enforcement. And I think we're getting to a tipping point where we're going to have to start really looking hard at how we do that, because it's not going to go away on its own. And it's been a continual problem for several years. Many of the councilors who've been on this board for as long as I have seen it improve briefly, and then it digresses. So hopefully this will be the beginning to a permanent fix to improvements to the downtown.
Thank you, Councilor Brooks. Any other comments from the floor? Councilor Costello.
I want to thank the private citizens that go around and pick up trash to improve not only in the downtown area, but also in their particular area that they live. The other day, I saw a woman walking her dog with a white bag picking up trash on James Street. I turned around and I said, "Thank you." And she does this on a regular basis. Today I saw her again walking her dog with the white bag, and I said, "If there's any time I could join you, please let me know." So there are residents out there that are doing this on their own, and I'm very grateful for the people that have taken an interest on their own to pick up trash and keep the community clean. But I do agree with Councilor Brooks. We have to do more. We have to become more assertive in regards to keeping our neighborhoods clean. And programs like ROCA have been a tremendous help in keeping Chicopee clean. And I want to thank DPW for sending ROCA out to the Fairview Water Tower, because they did clean up there several times. And that's wonderful. And I think when the Royals came, there was a sign behind the Royals when they came to Boston, ROCA. So maybe ROCA now will be going overseas. But we got it here in Chicopee. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments from Zoom? Seeing none, roll call.
President Laflamme.
Yes.
Roy.
Yes.
Tillotson.
Yes.
Zagorowski.
Yes.
McAuliffe.
Yes.
Brooks.
Yes.
Lopez.
Yes.
Valkir.
Yes.
Krampus.
Yes.
Dobis.
Yes.
Kushein.
Yes.
Labrie.
Yes.
Piniac Costello.
Yes.
13 yes.
And the motion passes.
We have a favorable report from the Public Works Committee. Be it ordered that the DPW install a curb barrier at 800 Prospect Street.
Councilor Crumpets.
Motion that the committee report be received and placed on file tonight.
Motion made and second that the Public Works Committee report be received and placed on file. On the motion.
Yes, this order was filed by Councilor Piniac Costello, and the city engineer stated that curbing would cause drainage problems in that area, and I'll let the maker of the motion add any further comments if she wishes.
I want to thank
Councilor Costello.
Thank you. I want to thank the city engineer, Doug Ellis, for going out there at 800 Prospect Street and review it to see whether or not this request would be feasible. He studied it very hard, and he indicated that no, that wouldn't be feasible. I did go over to the resident's home and tell him that, so there was an acceptance in regards to what the decision was. But again, I want to thank City Engineer Ellis for taking the time and doing his job very well. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the floor? Any comments from Zoom? Seeing none, roll call.
President Laflamme?
Yes.
Roy?
Yes.
Tillotson?
Yes.
Zagorowski?
Yes.
McAuliffe?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Lopez?
Yes.
Valkir?
Yes.
Crumpets?
Yes.
Dobis?
Yes.
Kushein?
Yes.
Labrie?
Yes.
Piniac Costello?
Yes.
13 yes.
And a motion passes.
We have a favorable report from the Public Works Committee. Be it ordered that the ordinance subcommittee meet to discuss drive-throughs and potential for the city council to require a special permit to construct one.
Counselor Crampons.
Motion that the DPW report be received and placed on file tonight.
Motion made and second that the Public Works Committee report be received and placed on file. On the motion.
Yes, Lee Pouliot spoke at the meeting. This was an order filed by Councilor Dobis and Councilor Piniac Costello. And basically, I'll summarize, and I'm sure the makers of the motion can add to it. But drive-throughs are an accessory use. Public hearings are triggered by scope of work are for them. New or remodeled, smaller revisions, they're basically approved by the department head for review, and then anything larger goes before the planning board.
Thank you. Counselor Costello.
Yes, in regards to this particular motion, and I want to thank, this particular order, I want to thank Councilor Dobas for support. Basically, when a drive-through is requested, there is no public hearing that's required. And what we're trying to do is to make sure that the drive-through doesn't have a negative impact on the neighborhood. Because some drive-throughs that were established many, many years ago created problems. And we're trying to avoid problems instead of getting them. So that's the reason for the discussion on the drive-through. Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Dobas.
Thank you. First of all, I want to apologize to my co-sponsor, Councilor Costello. I missed this committee hearing. I had a work obligation, so unfortunately I left her out to dry. But I'm proud to co-sponsor this. We wanted to see what the feeling of the board was, if they would support this or not. I understand that, planning is comfortable with the current process, but there are some problems. I mean, you have Dairy Queen and Kenny Boulevard, which was, I know, passed years ago, but that's just one example, and that causes a lot of congestion. And now there's more plans for more drive-throughs, and some of them are really good for the city too. Don't get me wrong. I know there's certain businesses that are really good, like Chick-fil-A, for example. In my opinion, is in my ward, it's run very well. But I think some of these drive-throughs need to be looked at more thoroughly in committee. And, I believe that there should be a public hearing for a drive-through, especially some drive-throughs of certain sizes. And in the future, I would like to see, again, a more, stringent process for certain developments in the city. And drive-throughs are one of them, especially with, with some high-traffic areas where, there's a lot of concerns. So I hope in the future we can get this passed, but for now we filed this just to see where the board's at. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the floor? Any comments from Zoom? Roll call, please.
President Laflamme?
Yes.
Roy?
Yes.
Tillotson?
Yes.
Zagorowski?
Yes.
McAuliffe?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Lopez?
Yes.
Valkir?
Yes.
Crumpets?
Yes.
Dobis?
Yes.
Kushein?
Yes.
Labrie?
Yes.
Piniac Costello?
Yes.
13 yes.
And the motion passes.
We have a favorable report from the Public Works Committee. Be it ordered that the city engineer and the superintendent of the DPW appear before the Public Works Subcommittee to discuss safety concerns at the intersection of Voss and Blanchard Streets.
Counselor Crampets.
Motion that the Public Works report be received and placed on file tonight.
Motion made and second that the Public Works Committee report be received and placed on file this evening. On the motion.
This is actually good news. The safety and drainage improvements have been made to the intersection. And on that, I will turn it over to the makers of the motion.
Councilor Costello.
Thank you, Councilor Crumpets. This is exciting, this particular issue. Thank you, President Laflamme, also. This has been an issue that's been in our particular neighborhood for 35 years in regards to improper drainage. And the city engineer and the superintendent of DPW took corrective action and fixed this. And that's a wonderful event that took place because it makes the neighborhood, it makes the street safer. And I do have to compliment the DPW superintendent as well as the city engineer, because personally in dealing with them, I do feel that they're making a tremendous effort to make our streets safer. And this is a good example of keeping the streets safer and the neighborhood safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the floor? Any comments from Zoom? Roll call, please.
President Laflamme?
Yes.
Roy?
Yes.
Tillotson?
Yes.
Zagorowski?
Yes.
McAuliffe?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Lopez?
Yes.
Valkir?
Yes.
Crumpets?
Yes.
Dobis?
Yes.
Kushein? Yes. Labrie?
Yes.
Piniac Costello?
Yes.
13 yes.
And the motion passes.
We have a favorable report from the Public Works Committee. Be it ordered that a portion of Grape Street in the city of Chicopee be discontinued in accordance with Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 82, Section 21.
Councilor Crumpets.
Motion that the Public Works Committee report be received and approved tonight, and the approval of the discontinuance of the parcel as described in the attached plan.
Motion made and second that the Public Works Committee report be received and approved this evening. If you could just repeat, for the Chicopee to be discontinued in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 82, Grape Street. Thank you. On the motion.
That the discontinuance be approved in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 82, Section 21.
Correct. Thank you. On the motion.
On the motion, this and the next order are basically to turn over the property so that a retaining wall can be maintained by the property owner. Right now, this part of it is basically essentially discontinuance of any use of the property. The next order is to actually abandon it, but this is actually to discontinue what we're using it for.
Thank you. Any comments from the floor? Any comments from Zoom? Roll call.
President Laflamme?
Yes.
Roy?
Yes.
Tillotson?
Yes.
Zagorowski?
Yes.
McAuliffe?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Lopez?
Yes.
Valkir?
Yes.
Crumpets?
Yes.
Dobis?
Yes.
Kushein?
Yes.
Labrie?
Yes.
Piniac Costello?
Yes.
12 yes.
And the motion passes.
We have a favorable report from the Public Works Committee. Be it ordered that a portion of Grape Street previously discontinued be abandoned in accordance with City Code Section 28-9, and the mayor be authorized to convey this parcel to the abutter in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 40, Section 15.
Councilor Crumpets.
Motion that the Public Works Committee be approved and that the approve the abandonment of the parcel as described in the attachment, and the mayor convey this parcel to the abutter.
Motion made
in
in
accordance
sec-
with Chapter 40 of the Mass General Laws, Section 15.
Motion made and second that the Public Works Committee report be received and portions of Grape Street previously discontinued be abandoned in accordance with City Code Chapter Section 28-9, and the mayor be authorized to convey the property to the abutter in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 40, Section 15. On the motion.
What you said. Basically, this is the second part to abandon the parcel to the abutter so that they can maintain the wall.
Thank you. Any comments on the floor? Any comments from Zoom? Roll call.
President Laflamme?
Yes.
Roy?
Yes.
Tillotson?
Yes.
Zagorowski?
Yes.
McAuliffe?
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Lopez,
Yes.
Valkir,
Yes.
Crumpets,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Kushein. Yes. Labrie,
Yes.
Piniac Costello.
Yes.
13 yes.
And the motion passes.
We have a favorable report from the License Committee. Be it ordered that Absolute Motors, Inc., 245 East Street be called before the City of Chicopee License Committee and the City Council to discuss the license currently held by Absolute Motors.
Counselor Brooks.
Motion made and seconded that the committee or the license be called in before the license committee to discuss any potential violations.
Motion made and seconded that the License Committee report be called in for potential violations. On the motion.
On the motion, I'll refer to the maker of the motion.
Okay, let's see. Who's the maker of this motion?
That's me.
Counselor Crumpets.
Yeah, this, basically, this should actually be to place on file.
Okay.
Already been called in to the License Committee.
Shane, could you just place it on file, Chairman?
Yep. Motion made to place the report on file.
Motion made and seconded to place the License Committee report for Absolute Motors, 245 East Street, place it on file. On the motion, Mr. Crumpets.
On the motion, I'll defer to Councilor Crumpets.
Basically, there had been some issues reported by one of the neighbors about cars parking on the opposite side of Butler Street that were involved with the business, and then snow being pushed across Butler Street to their property. And then also, when this came up, we realized they had an outdated plot plan, as there used to be a second business on the property. They agreed about not pushing the snow across the street. They're going to try to notify their customers not to park on the other side of Butler Street and to make sure that they don't put vehicles over there after they've been serviced, for pickup and things like that, or if somebody's waiting to be serviced, that they, park in the parking lot of the business. And basically, we did mention to them that they need to provide us a new plot plan, and then basically at some point in 2 or 3 months, we're going to call them back in and ask them to present the new plot plan to us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any comments from the floor? Any comments from Zoom? Roll call.
President Laflamme.
Yes.
Roy.
Yes.
Tillotson.
Yes.
Zagorowski.
Yes.
McCullough.
Yes.
Brooks.
Yes.
Lopez.
Yes.
Valkir.
Yes.
Crumpets.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Kushein. Yes. Labrie.
Yes.
Piniac Costello.
Yes.
13 yes.
And the motion passes.
We have a favorable report from the License Committee with a motion to postpone to the call of the chair for an application for a Class II license for United Sons Auto Sales LLC located at 400D East Main Street.
Counselor Brooks.
Make a motion that the item be received and referred to the call of the chair.
Motion made in second that the License Committee report be received and be called to the call of the chair. On the motion.
On the motion, there's just a few items they need to still get in order, some housekeeping things, and we'll take it up at our next License Committee meeting.
Counselor Crumpets.
Yeah, as Councilor Brooks mentioned, there was a few issues. In particular, Councilor Laflamme also looked at the plot plan and had received a call from a resident with some concerns, and that information was not available to be updated that night by the applicant. So we're giving them more time to do that, and that's why it's being referred back to the License Committee for the call of the chair.
Thank you. Any other comments from the floor? Any comments from Zoom? Seeing none, roll call.
President Laflamme.
Yes.
Roy.
Yes.
Tillotson.
Yes.
Zagorowski. McCullough.
Yes.
Brooks. Lopez.
Yes.
Valkir.
Yes.
Crumpets.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Kushein. Yes. Labrie.
Yes.
Piniac Costello.
Yes.
13 yes.
And the motion passes.
We have a favorable report With a motion to postpone to the call of the chair from the License Committee for an application for an auto repair license for United Sons Auto Sales LLC located at 400D East Main Street.
Council Brooks.
Same course, Mr. President.
Motion made in second that the License Committee report be received and, what are we saying? To the call, and be sent to the call of the chair. On the motion.
Same issues arose with this one.
Thank you. Councilor Crumpets. You're all set?
No comment, all set.
Same as the one before. Okay, any comments from the floor? Any comments from Zoom? Roll call.
President Laflamme?
Yes.
Roy?
Yes.
Tillotson?
Yes.
Zagorowski?
Out of
McCullough?
chair.
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Lopez?
Yes.
Valkir?
Yes.
Crumpets?
Yes.
Dovas?
Yes.
Kushein? Yes. Labrie?
Yes.
Piniac Costello? 13 yes.
That should be 12. Councilor Zagorowski is out of chair.
12 yes.
Thank you. And the motion passes.
We have a favorable report from the License Committee with a motion to postpone for an application for an auto detailing license for United Sons Auto Sales LLC located at 400D East Main Street.
Councilor Brooks.
Same course, Mr. President.
Motion made in second that the License Committee report be received and sent to the, be placed on file to the call of the chair. On the motion.
On the motion, it's the same issues. It's all the same applicant.
Thank you. Councilor Crumpets?
All
Seeing none. Any comments from the floor? Any comments from Zoom? Roll call.
President Laflamme?
Yes.
Roy?
Yes.
Tillotson?
Yes.
Zagorowski?
Out of chair?
McCullough?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Lopez?
Yes.
Valkir?
Yes.
Crumpets?
Yes.
Dovas?
Yes.
Kushein? Yes. Labrie?
Yes.
Piniac Costello?
Out of chair?
11 yes.
And the motion
2 out
passes.
of We have a favorable report from the License Committee for an application for a Class 2 license for Mar Auto Service, Inc., located at 31 Prospect Street.
Councilor Brooks.
Motion made to receive the License Committee report and approve the license this evening.
Motion made in second that the License Committee report be received and approved this evening with restrictions. On the motion.
On the motion, it was a very good meeting. This applicant actually applied for 3 licenses. We were able to go through each one with him. He was certainly eager to comply with all city regulations and requirements. So this is transitioning a long-established business at the bottom of the mouth of Chicopee Street, Mar Auto Service. He's been there forever. Gentleman's retiring, and he has sold the business. So I'll read the restrictions into the record. It is good housekeeping, no junk cars, no outside repairs. He must secure a certificate of occupancy prior to exercising the rights granted under the license. Operation hours are Monday, 7 to 7, Tuesday, 7 to 7, Wednesday, 7 to 7, Thursday, 7 to 7, Friday, 7 to 7, Saturday, 7 to 7, and Sunday from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Total number of vehicles, 37, and 37 vehicles outside with 4 employee parking spots and 6 customer parking spots. And they will be all applicable for all 3 licenses for sale. So the total number of vehicles on site will be 37 in summary of the 3 licenses that we hope to grant this evening.
Thank you. Councilor Brooks, could you just identify on the report regarding the plot plan where he initialed 1 vehicle?
Yes, he did in fact initial a vehicle at the request of President Laflamme because it seemed like it would impede a sight line to take a right-handed turn as you pass the business.
Thank you, just for the record. Thank you. Any other comments from the floor? Councilor Crumpets.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the way things are set up, the license is only valid to the end of the month, and he actually has to, if it's approved tonight, he actually has to file for a renewal and pay the fee again, so.
Correct, and he knows it. Anyone else on the floor? Anyone on Zoom? Roll call.
President Laflamme?
Yes.
Roy?
Out of chair.
Out of chair.
Tillotson?
Yes.
Zagorowski?
Yes.
McCullough?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Lopez?
Yes.
Valkir?
Yes.
Crumpets?
Yes.
Dobis?
Yes.
Kushein?
Yes.
Labrie?
Yes.
Piniac Costello?
Yes.
12 yes, 1 out of chair.
And the motion passes.
We have a favorable report from the License Committee for an application for an auto repair license for Mar Auto Service located at 31 Prospect Street.
Councilor Brooks.
Motion that the License Committee report be received and a license granted this evening.
Motion made and second that the License Committee report be received and approved this evening with restrictions. On the motion.
On the motion, the restrictions are the same. I'm not sure if I need to read them in again, Attorney Garvey, or they can just stand.
No, you can do same course.
Okay, same course, Mr. President.
And motion made and second that the License Committee report be received with the same restrictions and on the motion.
On the motion, again, as Councilor Crumpets mentioned, unfortunately, the license is only valid till 12/31/22. He'll need to start the reapplication process now, so he makes our, hopefully our next agenda. But he seemed very pleased with the opportunity to do business in the city of Chicopee.
Thank you. Any comments from the floor? Any comments from Zoom? Roll call.
President Laflamme?
Yes.
Roy?
Yes for him. He's walking in.
Tillotson?
Yes.
Zagorowski?
Yes.
McCullough?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Lopez?
Yes.
Valkir?
Yes.
Crumpets?
Yes.
Dobis?
Yes.
Kushein?
Yes.
Labrie?
Yes.
Piniac Costello?
Yes.
13 yes.
And the motion passes.
We have a favorable report from the License Committee for an application for an auto detailing license for Mar Auto Service, Inc., located at 31 Prospect.
Councilor Brooks.
Make a motion that the application for a license be received and approved this evening with the same restrictions as the previous two licenses.
Motion made and second that the License Committee report be received and approved this evening with the same restrictions as the two applicants above. On the motion.
It's really the same course, Mr. President.
Thank
This
you.
is just one more service he will offer at the location, and it will round out the 3 applications that he made before the License Committee that evening.
Thank you. Any comments from the floor? Any comments from Zoom? Roll call.
President Laflamme?
Yes.
Roy?
Yes.
Tillotson?
Yes.
Zagorowski?
Yes.
McCullough?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Lopez?
Yes.
Valkir?
Yes.
Crumpets?
Yes.
Dobis?
Yes.
Kushein?
Yes.
Labrie?
Yes.
Piniac Costello?
Yes.
13 yes.
And the motion passes.
We have a favorable report from the Zoning Committee for a special permit application under Section 275-52B13 for the purpose of having a 4th dog kennel license located at 23 Don Street.
Councilor Balakir.
Motion to approve the special permit application with 4 dogs this evening.
Motion made and second that the Zoning Committee report special permit application be approved this evening. On the motion.
On the motion, this is a motion that the favorable zoning subcommittee report be received and that the special permit application be approved this evening with conditions. The applicants had 3 dogs and they were acquiring a 4th dog. And we had an interesting meeting with them. There have been no complaints from the neighborhood concerns. And we also had a favorable report from the animal control regarding to the health department. So the sentiment was as long as the dogs behaved, and it looked like it was a nice setting. I took a drive by the house. The people seem to be friendly, and they said they'd keep an eye on the dogs. The sentiment was to approve the special permit with the 4 dogs, as long as they were in compliance with city regulations regarding dog kennel licenses. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the,
I'm sorry, I just wanted to say this is a permit to run with the applicant.
thank you. Councilor Costello.
Thank you, Councilor Laflamme. These individuals are doing a public service. They're fostering the 4th dog. And that's a wonderful public service for people. They're great people. This is the St. George family. They have been wonderful. They're good people as far as being community-minded. And dogs and cats serve a wonderful service to a lot of people. So when somebody takes the time to foster them and make sure they're ready to go to a good home, to provide support, that's a wonderful, wonderful job they're doing. So I want to thank them for their hard work, and I want to thank the zoning committee for voting in favor of this kennel license. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the floor? Anyone from Zoom? Roll call, please.
President Laflamme?
Yes. Yes.
Roy?
Yes.
Tillotson?
Yes.
Zagorowski?
Yes.
McCullough?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Lopez?
Yes.
Valkir?
Yes.
Crumpets?
Yes.
Dobis?
Yes.
Kushein?
Yes.
Labrie?
Yes.
Piniac Costello?
Yes.
13 yes.
And the motion passes.
We have a favorable report from the zoning committee for a special permit application under section 275-61C3 for the purpose of transferring an existing liquor license and entertainment license located at 258 Exchange Street.
Councilor Balakir.
A motion to approve the special permit with conditions.
Motion made and second to approve the zoning committee report with special conditions. On the motion.
Again, this is a motion that the favorable zoning subcommittee report be received, that a special permit application be approved this evening with conditions. This is involving the old station nightclub on 258 Exchange Street. And we did have some interesting discussions. Apparently, there were concerns from both the fire department and the building department. In particular, they had some questions regarding the fire suppression system. There was also some questions regarding the floor plan layout. So we had some discussion here, and also there were some concerns because recently there was an interesting article in the Boston Globe talking about the infamous Coconut Grove Fire nightclub that they had 80 years ago. So we had some concerns. So basically, we went back and forth with the attorney who represented the applicants, also input from fire and building. So the sentiment was to have some work done at this building with the understanding that there would be a motion to approve with conditions subject to being in compliance with both the fire department and building code requirements and subject to an inspection before issuing a CO. And this is a permit to run with the applicant.
Thank you. Any comments from the floor? Any comments from Zoom? Roll call.
President Laflamme?
Yes.
Roy?
Yes.
Tillotson?
Yes.
Zagorowski?
Yes.
McCullough?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Lopez?
Yes.
Valkir?
Yes.
Crumpets?
Yes.
Dobis?
Yes.
Kushein?
Yes.
Labrie?
Yes.
Piniac Costello?
Yes.
13 yes.
And the motion passes.
We have a favorable report from the zoning committee for home occupation license application for the purpose of psychotherapy virtual located at 267 Chicopee Street, apartment 8.
Councilor Balakir.
Motion to approve the home occupancy license applicant for the purpose of psychotherapy.
Motion made and second that the zoning committee report be received and approved this evening. On the motion.
On the motion, this was an interesting one, to approve the home occupancy license regarding for the purpose of psychotherapy virtually. I did some extra work on this one. It was my understanding, I don't know if we've issued this particular home occupancy license before. So the applicant was there, and we had some discussion regarding the qualifications, and in turn, what type of license this person had. And so we said that they would have to submit a copy of the license before our meeting this evening. And I did get in touch with our office, and the applicant did provide a mass license with clinical health work license this afternoon. So I feel comfortable with this. The person's going to be doing this virtually. They have some experience, and they are going to be doing this out of their condo, which they own. So I'm in favor of this. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments from the floor? Any comments from Zoom? Roll call.
President Laflamme.
Yes.
Roy.
Yes.
Tillotson.
Yes.
Zagorowski.
Yes.
McCullough.
Yes.
Brooks.
Yes.
Lopez.
Yes.
Valkir.
Yes.
Crumpets.
Yes.
Dobus.
Yes.
Kushein.
Yes.
Labrie.
Yes.
Van Costello.
Yes.
13 yes.
And the motion passes.
We have a favorable report from the zoning committee for a special permit application under section 275-9L3 for the purpose of the extension of a special permit located at Schwinnigan Drive, applicant Patriot Holdings.
Councilor Balakir.
Motion that the favorable subzoning committee report be received and that special permit application be granted this evening with conditions.
Motion made and second that the zoning committee report be received and approved this evening with conditions. On the motion.
On the motion, this is a special permit application for the purpose of an extension of a special permit located at Schwinnigan Drive for the purpose of constructing a self-storage unit with facilities. So this was discussed at length, and there were some issues regarding the site remodifications and also the change of the construction of the facility. So we went back and forth with Lee from planning, also the presentation that was brought by the applicants, and we came to the conclusion that we could grant the special permit for the purpose of the extension located at Schwinnigan Drive with the following conditions: approval of the SPRAC review, no fuel allowed for in the units, subject to the city inspection if problems arose regarding repairs of vehicles, and also the fire department inspection of plans before the issuance of the CO / the special permit application. And this is a permit to run with the land. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments from the floor? Any comments from Zoom? Roll call.
President Laflamme.
Yes.
Roy.
Yes.
Tillotson.
Yes.
Zagorowski.
Yes.
McCullough.
Yes.
Brooks.
Yes.
Lopez.
Yes.
Valkir.
Yes.
Crumpets.
Yes.
Dobus.
Yes.
Kushein.
Yes.
Labrie.
Yes.
Van Costello.
Yes.
13 yes.
And the motion passes.
We have a favorable report from the zoning committee for a permit under chapter 275-9 for the purpose of installing small wireless facility on existing utility pole under chapter 277, location 56 Foss Avenue. Verizon.
Councilor Balakir.
Motion to postpone to the call of the chair.
Motion made and second that the order be received and to be put on the call of the chair, excuse me. Thank you.
All
On the
right,
call of the
thank
chair.
you. Yes, this, well, first of all, we have a motion to accept the communication and that we received earlier and grant a postponement to the call of the chair to the January 2023 zoning subcommittee meeting at City Hall. We are awaiting additional information from Verizon, and so it appears that they are looking for a 60-day extension with the understanding that the matter is going to be on the agenda for the next City Council committee meeting. We were discussing the situation regarding utility poles located at 56 Foss Avenue, and in turn, there was a recommendation with a study about the possibility of a pole P, which would be an alternate pole that may be utilized. So we're awaiting additional information from Verizon on this.
Thank you. So we need two motions, one for the postponement and one for the report, correct?
Right, which two motions. One motion to accept and grant the additional 60-day extension, and the second one is the motion to postpone to our January 2023 zoning subcommittee.
So, Mr. Chair, if you would do one at a time.
Sure. Okay. So the first motion is to accept the communication and grant the postponement regarding the January, the postponement to the call of the chair to the January 2023 zoning subcommittee meeting.
Hold on. What's your question, Ms.
Well,
Councilor?
there's two of us. So the first one is the extension, and then it's the postponement. Which one do you want me to speak on?
Which one are you doing? The postponement first, so if you want to talk on that one.
Extension first, I believe.
Well, we have to grant the 60-day extension
And
first,
then
and then the
postpone.
postponement.
Yes.
So I think
Okay, so the
first
60-day first.
Okay, so we'll grant the motion to grant the extension.
Motion made and second that we approve the 60-day extension on the motion.
Okay.
Councilor Dobas.
Mr. President, or through the chair to our attorney, at what point does this get automatically approved? Right? Isn't there, if it's on the agenda for 90 days, is it 90 days, or is there a certain date where if we don't vote on the item, it'll get approved automatically?
You are correct. So it's 90 days from the date of our first hearing. So that's the purpose of motion number one, is to accept and grant an additional 60 days so it doesn't get granted automatically.
Okay, thank you. So if we accept the 60 days, then it will not be automatically granted.
No, it would be automatically granted 60 days from tonight's meeting if we didn't act prior to that 60-day period.
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
Thank you. Any other comments? Any comments from the floor? So we're voting on the 60-day extension.
I'll talk on the postponement. That's fine.
Are you all set?
I'll speak on the postponement, so we can grant the
Okay,
extension.
roll call, please.
Okay.
President Laflamme.
Yes.
Roy.
Yes.
Tillotson.
Yes.
Zagorowski.
Yes.
McCullough.
Yes.
Brooks.
Yes.
Lopez.
Yes.
Valkir.
Yes.
Crumpets.
Yes.
Dobas.
Yes.
Shane.
Yes.
Labrie.
Yes.
Piniac Costello.
Yes.
15 yes.
And the motion passes for the 60-day extension. The next one, please.
Okay. Motion to postpone to the call of the chair because we're awaiting additional information from Verizon.
Motion made in second that we postpone to the call of the chair until the information from Verizon comes forward. On the motion.
On the motion, I'm going to defer to Councilor Lopez on this part. Thank you.
Councilor Lopez.
Thank you. So this pole, obviously 56 Foss Ave, is in my ward. There have been complaints from residents about the location of the pole. Verizon has been cooperative at this point through their attorney, Mike Fenton, and has given us a list which we can place on file. We placed it on file during the zoning subcommittee, but we can also place it on file with this one. They have given us a document which outlined alternate pole locations within the area that they were trying to increase the connectivity. And so after receiving that list, I met with the residents that were interested and who have been showing up continuously to meetings. We discussed alternate poll locations and what they would prefer. We took it to a vote, and what they preferred was Poll P, which has been submitted to Verizon. Verizon is agreeable to exploring Poll P as an option. They also have made their position clear that they are not trying to keep 56 Foss Ave the location, that they are actually making a good concerted effort to make the new poll location, which we have chosen, the right poll, or the poll that is actually constructed on. And so this extension is not them continuing to want to use 56 Foss Ave as a location. It is simply to allow them to keep communication open between them and Chicopee Electric, and to fully explore Poll P as an option before moving forward and withdrawing this and putting in a new application for the new poll location. At which point, all new letters will go out to those residents that are directly abutting that poll. But this is, again, not in any way an intention from Verizon. They've said that multiple times, to keep 56 Foss Ave the location. We thank them for working with us and providing all of the information that they've provided, which will be placed on record. And again, I would like to thank my residents in Ward 3, the residents who have expressed concern. Their concerns are heard, and I thank them for being a part of the process, because oftentimes as counselors, we try our best, but we cannot help folks if they don't tell us exactly what it is that they need. So I'm really thankful for their partnership and standing up for what they believe was what was necessary for their neighborhood, my neighborhood, but particularly theirs, because that's not a street I live on, and it affects them more than anyone else. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Before we go, I just want to clarify the motion. The motion is to postpone to the order to our January 20th, 2023 zoning committee meeting to be held in the chambers here at City Hall. Any other comments?
Just for clarification, I'm not sure it's the 20th, but our January 2023 zoning subcommittee meeting. Correct.
January 2023 subcommittee meeting. Yep. Zoning. Any other comments? Any comments from the floor? Roll call, please.
President Laflamme?
Yes.
Roy?
Yes.
Tillotson?
Yes.
Zagorowski?
Yes.
McCullough?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Lopez? Yes. Valkir?
Yes.
Crumpets?
Yes.
Dobis?
Yes.
Duchesne?
Yes.
Labrie?
Yes.
Piniac Costello?
Yes.
13 yes.
And the motion passes. On the number 28, I'm going to remove myself from this. It has to do with the Memorial Drive Mass Mutual, and I am employed by Mass Mutual, so I'll step away for number 28.
Be it ordered that the school committee's request that the city of Chicopee purchase the real property located at 350 Memorial Drive, Chicopee, for school purposes be sent to the Finance Committee and the Education Committee separately for discussion.
Motion that the order be received and up for discussion.
We need someone to make a motion. We need you to second it, Mr. Vice President.
Okay, motion to send this order to the Finance Committee and the Education Committee separately for discussion.
Motion to send it to the Finance and School Education Committee separately. On the motion.
Motion made and seconded.
On the motion, we'll take it up in Finance.
All right, let me explain. I'll make a second motion that we send it to both Finance Committee and Education Committee. I'd just like to explain something that's going on. I had a discussion with Ms. Costello on this. Originally, this order was going to be just both at one time, but because of the information received and the importance of this order, she has agreed to have an Education Committee on this, and at a later date, I will have a Finance Committee on it when I get all the answers I need to have a Finance Committee. So I'd like to have Ms. Costello refer this to Ms. Costello for a discussion right now.
Thank you. So basically, as Councilor Zagorowski stated, originally we were going to have a joint subcommittee meeting between Finance and Education. But after discussing with Councilor Zagorowski, it is probably in the best interest of everyone to have these committees meet separately, because there has to be a discussion that's thorough on both issues in regards to purchasing this property. The first discussion is going to be, as soon as possible, the Education Subcommittee. I'm going to try to schedule that ASAP so that the school committee can be invited, the acting superintendent of schools, and the director of curriculum, as well as the union president. There won't be anybody rushed, because these people will be there only for the education discussion in regards to purchasing the building. I want to thank Councilor McAuliffe that indicated in the last meeting, if there's any reason to have an education subcommittee meeting, this would be the reason. The purchasing of a building and how that's going to benefit the children in regards to their education. So basically, we're asking to separate. The original motion was to keep the meetings together. We want a thorough discussion that the topics will be separated. One, education, the other, the money and finance. Thank you.
Any other comments? All in favor?
Roll
call.
President Laflamme, out of chair. Roy?
Yes.
Billington?
Yes.
Zagorowski?
Yes.
McAuliffe?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Lopez?
Yes.
Valkir?
Yes.
Crumpets?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Kushein?
Yes.
Labrie?
Yes.
Piniac Costello?
Yes.
12 yes, 1 out of chair. Motion passes.
Motion passes.
Be it ordered that the City Council meet to discuss the open meeting law complaint filed by Lisa Bienvenu, received on November 17th, 2022. The complaint questions the adequacy of the notice of order number 8 on November 15th, 2022, City Council's agenda, which addressed Chapter 7 ordinance revisions regarding the salaries of members of the City Council and School Committee.
Councilor Bree.
Motion to allow the law department to respond to the complaint in writing.
Motion made and second to allow the law department to respond to the complaint in writing. On the motion, Attorney Garvey.
Thank you. So as the council's aware, we did receive a complaint from a constituent. That complaint was dated November 15, 2022, and received by our office on November 17, 2022. And the crux of the complaint from the constituent really was the adequacy of the description of agenda item number 8 on our November 15, 2022 agenda. And if you recall, the item on the agenda specifically stated, and I quote, favorable ordinance committee report, chapter 7 revisions. The problem with that particular notice is that we are required to give reasonable notice to the public about what items we'll be discussing at an open meeting. And unfortunately, this phrase, favorable ordinance committee report, chapter 7 revisions, may be familiar to all of us and who deal with chapter 7, but it would not be, in my opinion, reasonably ascertainable from that wording what specifically we be speaking about. Now, it's easy for us because on chapter 7 ordinances, which we all know are describe the non-collective bargaining and the non-contract employees, what their descriptions are, what their salaries are. So that particular description that I was on our November 15th agenda did not adequately, in my opinion, notify the public. Now, I have looked at our agendas, and I think we have an agenda tonight. It is not a problem that's pervasive. We're usually very diligent and very good about making sure that based upon the agenda that we publish online, that a person would reasonably be able to anticipate what we'd be discussing on each item. But in this particular case with Chapter 7 ordinances in this particular order, I do not believe that we've met the legal bar. So once I did review this, I did speak with the various departments in City Hall that do deal with Chapter 7 ordinance revisions. And they are the auditing department, the mayor's office, obviously our office, and the city clerk's office. So we've had multiple discussions since receiving this complaint. I'm confident that based upon those discussions that we will pay more attention and be more particular about Chapter 7 ordinance revisions. And we've also had a discussion about just giving one last final look at the agenda before we make it public to make sure that, in fact, not only the Chapter 7 ordinances, but any item that's up for discussion is adequately addressed in this posting so that a person who is unfamiliar with city business would be able to look at that posting and from that description understand exactly what we'd be talking about. So what I'm asking for is permission to respond to this complaint in writing, just explaining that we understand that this wasn't specific enough, that we've taken these steps in order to make sure it doesn't happen in the future, and I just need your formal approval to make those written notices to the complaint.
Thank you. Councilor Costello.
Thank you. In regards to the statement here, it indicates that the meeting was actually November 5th, so that should be amended to November 15th, because that's what the date of the meeting was. It wasn't November 5th, it was actually November 15th.
Correct. It was November 15th.
Yeah. So in regards to this, this particular this order in regards to the violation of the open meeting law complaint, I guess, Mrs. Bienvenue is diligent in regards to what goes on in our government here. And she holds us accountable. And that's a good thing. That's a real good thing. No lies, just honest, hard work. No spreading of rumors, just honest, hard work. And I'm very happy with the response by the law department in correcting any type of problems that have occurred. And this is a step in the right direction to keep us transparent, honest, and accountable. So I want to thank Mrs. Bienvenue for her hard work, and I want to thank the law department for their response. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the floor? Any comments from Zoom?
Yes.
Councilor Tillotson.
Our attorney Garvey to clarify it so that it will be acceptable to the public. In other words, it's on our agenda this evening, but we should give them the authority to go ahead and do what needs to get done in order to eliminate the problem.
That's correct, Jim. As soon as we take the vote, that will happen.
Okay.
Okay. Any other comments?
Make sure, because I think he's looking for looking to the full committee to give him the authority to go ahead and clarify it so that it'll meet the qualifications that are necessary.
Again, Jim, that's what the vote's going to do. That's what's going to be clear. It's going to give him the permission to do answer in writing as he sees fit to do so on behalf of the law department. Thank you. Any other comments from the Zoom? Seeing none, roll call.
President Laflamme.
Yes.
Roy.
Yes.
Tillotson. Yes.
Zagorowski.
Yes.
McCullough.
Yes.
Brooks.
Yes.
Lopez.
Yes.
Valkir.
Yes.
Crumpets.
Yes.
Dobis.
Yes.
Kushein.
Yep.
Labrie.
Yes.
Piniac Costello.
Yes.
18 yes.
And the motion passes.
Be it ordered that the DPW install pedestrian lights at the crosswalk of Fairhaven Apartments, 400 Britton Street.
Councilor Costello.
Yes, through the chair to the city attorney, we have to amend the street on this. By an error, it was Fairhaven Apartments, 400 Britton Street, but that's already been addressed. What we want to say is 191 Mount Calm Street. So how can we make this motion so that the amendment is clear?
Normally, we can make adjustments to the agenda if it's clerical errors or similar, minute or smaller changes, but I think changing the address, we probably, in all honesty, should put it on the next agenda with the correct address. If it was the wrong number, Britton, maybe we could get away with that, but I think since it's a different street, we should give the public an opportunity to know what exactly it is that we're talking about. So if we could just perhaps place it on file, I'll make sure that the correct address gets on the agenda at our next meeting.
Thank you. So motion to place this on file.
Okay, motion made and second to place this on file.
Should we place on file or withdraw?
Or
No,
defeat, or
or
defeat.
defeat it. You can defeat and start over. It'd be quicker. You can just.
Excuse me, I didn't hear anything that anybody said.
Can either do a motion to defeat or a motion to place on file. Motion to defeat defeats it tonight. Motion to place on file just leaves it in limbo until next January.
Well, I can make a motion. What
Motion
would
to
you
defeat.
recommend as our city attorney?
Motion to defeat.
Okay. Motion that this order be defeated tonight in regards to a request for the DPW to install pedestrian lights at the crosswalk of Fairhaven Apartments, 400 Britton Street. Motion to defeat.
Motion made and second to defeat item number 30, installing pedestrian lights at the crosswalk at Fairhaven Apartments, 40 Britton Street.
And then, excuse me.
400 Britton. On the motion, go ahead.
Yes, and then Counselor Zagorowski and I will introduce the new motion on Montcalm Street. And I just want to say something. Counselor Zagorowski is very, very helpful in regards to coming to Ward 9 and assist with suggestions on signage, pedestrian lights, and traffic. His experience as a police officer has been very, very helpful to what is going on with the traffic in Ward 9. So I just want to publicly thank him for the time he takes to come to my neighborhood and give advice. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other comments from the floor? Any comments on Zoom? See none. Roll call.
President Laflamme?
Yes.
Roy?
Yes.
Tillotson? Yes.
Zagorowski?
Yes.
McCullough?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Lopez?
Yes.
Valkir?
Yes.
Crumpets?
Yes.
Dobis?
Yes.
Kushein?
Yep.
Labrie?
Yes.
Pena Costello?
Yes.
13 yes.
And the motion passes.
We have an ordinance to add to the following in schedule: parking prohibited this side of the street, Greenwich Street.
Councilor Kushein.
Motion that the ordinance be received, take its first reading, and be referred to the ordinance committee for a public hearing.
Motion made in second that the order be received, sent to the ordinance committee, and be received and have its first reading in a public hearing. On the motion.
Take it up in committee.
Any other comments? Any comments on Zoom? Roll call.
President Laflamme?
Yes.
Roy?
Yes.
Tillotson?
Yes.
Zagorowski?
Yes.
McCullough?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Lopez?
Yes.
Valkir?
Yes.
Crumpets?
Yes.
Dobis?
Yes.
Kushein?
Yes.
Labrie?
Yes.
Pena Costello?
Yes.
13 yes.
And the motion passes.
We have an ordinance to add to the following in schedule: parking prohibited here to corner Grape Street.
Councilor Brooks.
Make a motion that the ordinance be received and sent to the ordinance committee for a first reading.
Motion that the ordinance be received, take its first reading, and refer to the ordinance committee for a public hearing. On the motion.
On the motion, we'll take it up in committee.
Any other comments from the floor? Any comments from Zoom? Roll call.
President Laflamme?
Yes.
Roy?
Yes.
Tillotson?
Yes.
Zagorowski?
Yes.
McCullough?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Lopez?
Yes.
Valkir?
Yes.
Crumpets?
Yes.
Dobis?
Yes.
Kushein?
Yes.
Labrie?
Yes.
Pena Costello?
Yes.
13 yes.
And the motion passes.
We have an ordinance to add to the following in schedule, parking prohibited, Front Street.
Counselor Zagorowski.
Motion that the order take its first reading and send to ordinance.
Motion that the ordinance be received, take its first reading, and refer to the ordinance committee for a public hearing. On the motion.
On the motion, this is at the entrance of the City Hall parking lot. People have spoken to me about some concerns about getting in and out of that parking lot because there's a spot right there by pole number 36X that people seem to park right there, but under Chapter 90 and the traffic laws, it's 5 feet before a driveway and 5 feet after a driveway. But people park there. There's not enough room. So I filed this order to have a no parking sign put on that pole so it'll eliminate safety so people can get out of this parking lot safely in both ways in each direction.
Thank you. Any other comments from the floor? Any comments from Zoom? Roll call.
President Laflamme?
Yes.
Roy?
Yes.
Tillotson?
Yes.
Zagorowski?
Yes.
McCullough?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Lopez?
Yes.
Valkir?
Yes.
Crumpets?
Yes.
Dobus?
Yes.
Kushein?
Yes.
Labrie?
Yes.
Piniac Costello?
Yes.
13 yes.
And the motion passes.
Okay, 39 through 41 are the 2023 Class 1 license renewals. Curry Automotive LLC, Raleigh
George,
Automotive LLC, doing business as Curry Nissan Chicopee, Springfield Automotive Partners LLC, doing business as Mercedes-Benz of Springfield.
Keith, you got to go to number 34 next.
We appreciate the try, though. We appreciate that.
Try to sneak
Just
that
wishful
through
thinking, I guess.
for nobody's sleeping.
34.
Okay, we have an application for a new zone change for an application for mill conversion and commercial overlay district for 33,130 square feet of property located at 105 East Street for the purpose of allowing for future construction of a residential development.
Counselor Balakir.
Motion to receive the new zone change application, refer to the zoning subcommittee. and
Motion
plan-
made in second that the applicant be received and sent to zoning committee for a public hearing. On the motion.
On the motion, this also has to be sent besides the zoning subcommittee, also to the planning department for a public hearing because this is a new zone change. And on the motion, we will take this up in committee.
Thank you.
George, I think you mean planning board. I believe it's planning board, isn't it?
Planning board or planning department?
You mean
I think
lease?
there's a difference between the two.
Yeah, there are.
It's got to go to the
thought it
lease
was
department.
Planning department.
Right, but if Lee reviews it, that's not the planning board, that's the planning department. So I guess
Okay.
through the chair to our attorney when he's finished with Counselor Zagorowski.
Dan, I have a question for you. Fred has a question.
Yeah, Attorney Garvey, this mill conversion commercial center overlay district, we're going to send it obviously to our zoning subcommittee, but does this go to the planning department or to the planning board?
You can send it to both, and there is a mill conversion overlay committee as well.
Right.
I think that's in the planning department. So
Right.
send it to planning itself, the planning department, and the planning board.
Send it to both, to be safe.
So all of them.
Did you want to do that, George, or?
Well, we were looking, I did look at this actually at home, too. For zone change process, it says the applicant obtains an application from the planning department, so it has to go before both the planning board and the zoning subcommittee. So I think it could go to either or.
Just send it to all.
I think it has to go to
Send it to
both.
Send it to both.
I'm sorry?
I believe it has to go to both. It's usually the planning board has their vote first.
Okay.
And then they send their recommendation to zoning.
Right.
But Dan, you're saying there's also a mill overlay conversion committee as well? That's
part of it.
Usually goes to the planning board and zoning.
Right, right.
Okay. Oh, part of the planning board. Okay, all right, yeah, I guess then, as Keith said, to the zoning committee and to the planning board.
Okay.
All right. All right, thank you.
On the motion, any other comments?
Yeah, we'll take this up in committee.
Anyone on Zoom? Roll call.
President Laflamme?
Yes.
Roy?
Yes. Yes.
Tillotson?
Yes.
Gorowski?
Yes.
McCullough?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Lopez?
Yes.
Valkir?
Yes.
Crumpets?
Yes.
Dobus?
Yes.
Duchesne?
Yes.
Labrie?
Yes.
Oh, that's where they had a fire.
Piniac Costello?
Yes.
13 yes.
And the motion passes.
To an application for a new zone change to apply for mill conversion to a commercial center overlay district for 118,613 square feet of property located at 480 Burnett Road and 510 Burnett Road for the purpose of constructing a residential development with associated site improvements to be located at the above referenced properties in Chicopee.
Counselor Balakir.
Motion to receive the new zone change application for the zoning subcommittee.
Motion made in second that we receive the new zoning change application and be referred to the zoning
Both
committee.
the zoning
On the motion.
subcommittee and also the planning board for public hearing.
Okay.
And on the motion, we will take this up in committee.
Get your mic
Yes,
on.
go ahead.
As I mentioned, I think the two orders have to go to planning, the planning board, the zoning subcommittee, and the overlay district review committee. There is a specific committee that reviews these requests. So there's 4 places that should, both items 34 and 35 should be going to. The overlay district review committee is governed by the planning board, but it is its own separate committee.
So can we just recall the 34 and amend the 34 right now on the floor to include that?
Yes.
So why don't you make a motion to
But
include?
we can, I guess we can conclude on 35 and go back to 34.
Okay, we can do that.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
There's so many committees on this one.
Right, well, just through the chair, through the attorney, because of the planning department / planning board, I know that usually the overlay district committee, it's kind of part, it's kind of part of the planning department, would you say, Counselor?
It's coordinated through that. So the overlay review committee consists of representatives of the building department, Chicopee Electric Light, conservation, fire, health, planning, development, police, public works, highway, engineering, wastewater, and water. So it's a very expansive committee, so you have to send them to 4 committees.
Okay.
But we won't, the zoning subcommittee won't meet until we get recommendations from planning, the planning board, and the advisory committee, the overlay district review committee, which is the advisory committee.
Right, correct. So this is almost similar to a SPRAC committee.
Correct, but it's a little more expansive.
Right, okay. All right, thank you.
All right. Counselor Dobas.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm not, for or against this zone change at this time. I haven't seen any information, but I just want residents to understand where this area is. 480 Burnett Road and 510 Burnett Road is where the Deegan's restaurant used to be, in the area behind that, like behind the Dunkin' Donuts and all of that empty land there. So I just want residents to understand what area we're talking about. I'm sure anything on Burnett Road is going to be high interest to the public. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? So I just asked you, Chairman, just to clarify for this one, 35, the 4 committees you're sending it to.
Okay.
Just the committees.
Sure. So we're going to send that to the zoning subcommittee. We're going to send that also to the planning board / planning department, and also the overlay district department or committee as well.
Thank you. Any other comments from the floor? Any comments from Zoom? Roll call.
President Laflamme?
Yes.
Roy?
Yes.
Tillotson?
Yes.
Gorowski?
Yes.
McCullough?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Lopez?
Yes.
Valkir?
Yes.
Crumpets?
Yes.
Dobus?
Yes.
Duchesne?
Yes.
Labrie?
Yes.
Piniac Costello?
Yes.
13 yes.
And the motion passes. I will take a motion to refer back to item number 34 for discussion.
Motion to
motion to
refer
reconsider.
back to item 34 for discussion.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
President Laflamme?
Yes.
Roy?
Yes.
Tillotson?
Yes.
Zagorowski?
Yes.
McCullough?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Lopez?
Yes.
Valkir?
Yes.
Crumpets?
Yes.
Dobis?
Yes.
Kushein?
Yes.
Labrie?
Yes.
Brianna Costello?
Yes.
Yes, I'm going to let Councilor Lopez, she had her hand up prior to this. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to make it clear that that last motion and this motion need to be worded not slash, but and, because they're separate entities. So we're saying planning department slash, or planning board slash planning department, but it can't be written that way. It has to be and or a comma, because they're two separate entities. I just don't want this to come back and we didn't do it properly.
Thank you. All right. So we're on to 34. Chairman, can we do new zoning again? Just the,
Sure.
review
Motion
it
to
all.
receive the new zone change application, refer to the zoning subcommittee, the planning department, the planning board, and the mill conversion and commercial center overlay district committee
thank you. Any other comments on that one
for a public hearing.
for a public hearing? Any other questions? Anyone on the floor? Anyone on Zoom? Seeing none, roll call.
President Laflamme?
Yes.
Roy? Tillotson?
Yes.
Zagorowski?
Yes.
McCullough?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Lopez?
Yes.
Valkir?
Yes.
Crumpets?
Yes.
Dobis?
Yes.
Kushein?
Yes.
Labrie?
Yes.
Brianna Costello?
Yes.
13 yes.
And the motion passes.
We have an application for a new special permit under section 275-58E1 for the purpose of installation of a new pole sign located at 1801 Memorial Drive.
Councilor Balakir.
Motion to receive the new special permit application and refer to the zoning subcommittee.
Motion made and second that we accept the new application and send to zoning committee for a public hearing. On the motion.
On the motion, in addition to the zoning subcommittee, we're also going to have the planning department, engineering department, building department involved for a public hearing. And on the motion, we will take this up in committee.
Thank you. Any other comments from the floor? Any comments on Zoom? Roll call.
President Laflamme?
Yes.
Roy?
Yes.
Tillotson?
Yes.
Zagorowski?
Yes.
McCullough?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Lopez? Valkir?
Yes.
Crumpets?
Yes.
Dobis?
Yes.
Kushein?
Yes.
Bree?
Yes.
Brianna Costello?
Yes.
13 yes.
And the motion passes.
An application for a new special permit under section 275-50C1 and 2 for the purpose of a new digital sign with dimensional relief. Location of property 603 New Ludlow Road.
Councilor Balakir.
Motion to receive the new special permit application, refer to the zoning subcommittee.
Motion made and second that we receive application for a new special permit application. On the motion.
On the motion, this is also going to be referred to the zoning subcommittee report, planning department, engineering department, and building department for a public hearing. And on the motion, we will take this up in committee as well.
Right. This is for 603 New Ludlow Road. On the motion. Anyone else on the floor? Any questions? Anyone on Zoom? Roll call.
President Laflamme?
Yes.
Roy?
Yes.
Tillotson?
Yes.
Zagorowski?
Yes.
McCullough?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Lopez?
Yes.
Valkir?
Yes.
Crumpets?
Yes.
Dobis?
Yes.
Kushein?
Yes.
Bree?
Yes.
Brianna Costello?
Yes.
13 yes.
And the motion passes.
We have an application for a new special permit under section 275-63 for the purpose of increasing outside storage in the IPUD Type 1 district from 2% of the building footprint to 5%, as set forth in section 275-63F5. Location of property 301 Griffith Road. Applied for by Leone Wire.
Counselor Balakir.
Motion to receive the new special permit application and refer to the zoning subcommittee.
Motion made and second that the new special permit application for 301 Griffin Street be sent to the zoning committee for a public hearing. On the motion.
On the motion, besides referring to the zoning subcommittee, this should also be referred to the planning department, engineering department, and building department for a public hearing, and we will take this up in committee.
Thank you. Any other comments from the floor? Anyone from Zoom? Roll call.
President Laflamme?
Yes.
Roy?
Yes.
Tillotson?
Yes.
Zagorowski?
Yes.
McCullough?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Lopez?
Yes.
Valkir?
Yes.
Crumpets?
Yes.
Dobus?
Yes.
Kushein?
Yes.
Labrie?
Yes.
Piniac Costello?
Yes.
13 yes.
And the motion passes.
Okay, 39 through 41 are 2023 Class 1 license renewals. Curry Automotive LLC, Raleigh Automotive LLC, doing business as Curry Nissan Chicopee, Springfield Automotive Partners LLC, doing business as Mercedes-Benz of Springfield.
Counselor Brooks.
Motion made to receive the 2023 Class 1 license renewals and approve with current restrictions.
Is there anyone on the floor who have any questions on any of these?
You got to second it.
Motion made in second that we approve the 2023 Class 1 license renewals. On the motion.
On the motion, are there any issues with any of the three listed?
No one on the floor, no one on Zoom.
Call the roll, Mr. President.
Roll call, please.
President Laflamme?
Yes.
Roy?
Yes.
Tillotson?
Yes.
Zagorowski?
Yes.
McCullough?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Lopez?
Yes.
Valkir?
Yes.
Crumpets?
Yes.
Dobus?
Yes.
Kushein?
Yes.
Labrie?
Yes.
Piniac Costello?
Yes.
13 yes.
And the motion passes.
42 through 55 are 2023 Class 2 license renewals. Al LaFleur, Inc., doing business as East Main Street Auto, Auto Techniques, Inc., B&L Automotive, Inc., Chicopee Motor Sales, Inc., East Main Street Auto 2, Gary's Auto Sales, Inc., International Automobile, Inc., Interstate Towing, Inc., Nice Cars, LLC, Penske Truck Leasing, Inc., Royal Coach Sales, LLC, TMD Automotive, Inc., Tellier's Auto Sales, Inc., Vitale's Auto Sales.
Motion made in second that the 2023 Class 2 license renewals. On the motion. Be approved.
Jane has to make the motion.
Kind of got to refer to me first so I can make the
Oh,
motion.
I'm sorry. Counselor Brooks.
Motion to approve the 2023 Class 2 license renewals for the following 15 applicants with current restrictions.
Motion made in second that the 2023 Class 2 license renewals for items number 42 to 55 be approved this evening. On the motion.
On the motion, as long as there's no concerns with any particular applicant, I would ask for a roll call.
Okay, Counselor Crumpets.
Yeah, I will have to check with the city clerk's office, but I don't believe Royal Coach is at 576 East Street anymore. The motorcycle place went in there. And I don't recall us saying that there was going to be a second licensee at that location. So I mean, maybe they approved it automatically, but I'm not aware of them still being at that location.
You want to pull that one for now?
Yeah, I'd like to at least pull it until the next city council meeting.
Okay.
That's a favorable amendment.
Okay.
So the only thing I can say to that is the council never rescinded that license. You could, I would recommend it just going to committee.
Okay, so
we'll do all the renewals except for that one, and with a amendment to send that one back to committee. Is that
motion made in
what we're doing?
second that the 2023 Class 2 license renewals for items number 42 to 55, except for Royal Coach sales, be approved this evening, and Royal Coach sales be returned to the committee. On the motion.
Councilor or President Flam, through you to the attorney, do I need to make a separate motion to return the one item to committee?
Yeah, so my suggestion would be as far as, so we're approving 42 through 55 with the exception of Royal Coach Sales LLC. We'll take that roll call, and then you'll take Royal Coach Sales LLC and refer that to the License Committee Chair, because I'm not sure we're going to have a License Committee meeting before the end of the year, and if we don't, then we won't be able to address this. So maybe I can straighten it out with our office and the clerk's office and Counselor Brooks.
Let's say, so Councilor Brooks will have to redo this right now.
So,
Mr.
yeah,
Chair.
so your motion, which you just seconded, was motion to accept and approve with active restrictions, items 42 through 55.
Correct.
With the exception of Royal Coach. You take a roll call on that one.
Okay, a motion on, okay, Councilor Lopez.
Through the chair to Attorney Garvey, would it make sense, so Royal Coach Sales is item 52. Would it make sense to first remove item 52 and refer that to the chair and then vote to approve 42 through 51 and then 53 to 55?
We can certainly do it that way as well.
I think that's cleaner in terms
Sure,
of the agenda.
could do that, yep.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Councilor Brooks, how do you want to handle it?
We can certainly do the motion first to remove item number
52.
whatever the Royal Coach numeric order is, and
Number
refer
52.
back to the License Committee for a public hearing, and then approve the others.
It's item number 52, Councilor Brooks.
52. So the
Thank you,
motion on...
52.
Thank you. The motion on the floor right now is to remove item 52 from the 2023 Class 2 license renewals
And
Any
refer to the call of the chair.
and refer to the call of the chair. Any other comments from the floor? Anyone on Zoom? Roll call on that item.
President Laflamme?
Yes.
Roy?
Yes.
Tillotson?
Yes.
Zagorowski?
Yes.
McCullough?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Lopez?
Yes.
Valkir?
Yes.
Crumpets?
Yes.
Dobis?
Yes.
Kushein?
Yes.
Labrie?
Yes.
Piniac Costello?
Yes.
13 yes.
And the motion passes.
Okay, on the renewals. President Laflamme?
Yes.
Roy?
Yes.
And state which ones.
Tillotson?
Yes.
Zagorowski?
Yes.
McCullough?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Lopez?
I'm sorry, just a point of clarification before I vote. I don't remember a motion actually going through on this one. Was there a motion on the floor for 42 through 51 and then 53 to 55? I think we're voting on nothing. I don't think there was a motion. Through the chair to Attorney Garvey.
Right, so the motion would be to approve the 2023 Class 2 license renewals for items 42 through 51 and 53 through 55. So if that's the motion, then...
Yeah, one motion for all of it. So...
There was just no motion,
Yeah,
so.
I thought okay, Councilor Brooks, if you can do it that way, 42 to 51 and 53 to 55 renewal.
Just for clarification, there's already a motion on the floor. There was already a motion to approve all of these. And then you separated out Royal Coach. So Royal Coach has already been sent to committee. So you can go with your original motion to approve the remainder. Because Royal Coach has already been removed.
No, because we changed it. The original motion was to approve all of them.
Well, right, the motion...
That's what I was calling a roll on.
Right, the motion that was made was for 42 through 55. So we didn't want to do that motion because we removed 51. So now the motion has to be, motion will approve items 42 through 51 and 53 through 55.
So let's, Mr. Clerk, go do motion to approve the 2023 Class 2 license number 42 to 51 and 53 to 55, please.
But I have to make that motion.
Yes, please, Chairman.
Motion to approve the 2022 Class 2 license renewals from 42
Through 51 and 53 through 55.
Thank you. Motion made and seconded. The 2023 Class 2 license renewal for items number 42 to 51 and 53 to 55 be approved this evening. Roll call, please.
President Laflamme?
Yes.
Roy?
Yes.
Tillotson?
Yes.
Zagorowski?
Yes.
McCullough?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Lopez?
Yes.
Valkir?
Yes.
Crumpets?
Yes.
Dobis?
Yes.
Kushein?
Yes.
Labrie?
Yes.
Piniac Costello?
Yes.
13 yes.
And the motion passes.
56 through 58 are 2023 Class 3 license renewals. Center Street Auto Parts of Chicopee, Inc., Crunale, Inc., doing business as Chicopee Scrap Metal and Recycling. Laflamme Trucks and Equipment Sales, Inc.
Motion made in, Counselor Brooks.
Motion made to approve the 2023 Class 3 license renewals with existing restrictions.
Motion made in second that the 2023 Class 3 license renewals for item number 56 through 58 be approved this evening with restrictions. Just so you know, the Laflamme Trucking is no relation to me at all, so I will vote on that tonight. It is no relation. On the motion.
On the motion, unless there's any concerns.
Any concern from the floor? Any concern from Zoom? Seeing none, roll call.
President Laflamme?
Yes.
Roy?
Yes.
Tillotson?
Yes.
Zagorowski?
Yes.
McCullough?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Lopez?
Yes.
Valkir?
Yes.
Crumpets?
Yes.
Dobis?
Yes.
Kushein?
Yes.
Labrie?
Yes.
Piniac Costello?
Yes.
13 yes.
And the motion passes.
Okay. 59 through 61 are 2023 auto body license renewals. Stan's Auto Body and Glass, Inc., Tellier's Auto Body, Inc., Vitale's Auto Body.
Counselor Brooks.
Make a motion that the 2023 auto body license renewals be approved this evening with current restrictions.
Motion made in second that the 2023 auto body license renewals be approved for items number 59 through 61 this evening. On the motion.
Unless there's any concerns.
Any concerns from the floor? Any concerns from Zoom? Seeing none, roll call.
President Laflamme?
Yes.
Roy?
Yes.
Tillotson?
Yes.
Zagorowski?
Yes.
McCullough?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Lopez?
Yes.
Valkir?
Yes.
Crumpets?
Yes.
Dobis?
Yes.
Kushein?
Yes.
Labrie?
Yes.
Piniac Costello?
Yes.
13 yes.
And the motion passes.
62 through 76 are 2023 auto repair license renewals. Al LaFleur, Inc., doing business as East Main Street Auto, Auto Techniques, Inc., B&L Automotive, Inc., Center Auto Repair, LLC, Don's Auto Repair, E&G Automotive, East Main Street Auto 2, Mario's Auto Service, Metro Lube Enterprises, doing business as Valvoline Instant Oil Change, Myers Service Station, Raleigh Automotive, LLC, doing business as Curry Nissan of Chicopee, Springfield Automotive Partners, LLC, doing business as Mercedes-Benz of Springfield, TMD Automotive, Inc., Tony's Auto Repair, and Walmart Store, 5278.
Counselor Brooks.
Make a motion that the 2023 auto repair license renewals be approved with all current restrictions.
Motion made in second that the items number 62 through 76, the 2023 auto repair license renewals be approved this evening with restrictions. On the motion.
Unless there's any concerns.
Any concerns from the floor? Any concerns from Zoom? Seeing none, roll call.
President Laflamme?
Yes.
Roy?
Yes.
Tillotson?
Yes.
Zagorowski?
Yes.
McCullough?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yep.
Lopez?
Yes.
Valkir?
Yes.
Crumpets?
Yes.
Dobis?
Yes.
Kushein?
Yes.
Labrie?
Yes.
Piniac Costello?
Yes.
13 yes.
And the motion passes.
77 through 79 are 2023 auto detail license renewals. Center Auto Repair, LLC, Nice Cars, LLC, Springfield Automotive Partners, LLC, doing business as Mercedes-Benz of Springfield.
Counselor Brooks.
Make a motion that the 2023 auto detail license renewals be received and approved this evening.
Motion made is second that the 77 through 79 2023 auto detail license renewals be approved this evening with restrictions. On the motion.
Unless there's any concerns.
Any concerns on the floor? Any concerns on Zoom? Seeing none, roll call.
President Laflamme?
Yes.
Roy?
Yes.
Tillotson?
Yes.
Zagorowski?
Yes.
McCullough?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Lopez?
Yes.
Valkir?
Yes.
Crumpets?
Yes.
Dobus?
Yes.
Kushein?
Yes.
Labrie?
Yes.
Piniac Costello?
Yes.
13 yes.
And the motion passes.
80 through 81 are 2023 auto body auto repair license renewals. Curry Automotive LLC, doing business as Curry Honda, and Gary's Auto Sales Inc.
Counselor Brooks.
Make a motion that the 2023 auto body / auto repair license renewals be received and approved this evening with current restrictions.
Motion made and seconded that item number 80 and 81, 2023 auto body auto repair license renewals be approved this evening with restrictions. On the motion.
Unless there's any objection.
Any rejection on the floor? Anyone on Zoom? Seeing none? Motion to approve. Roll call.
President Laflamme?
Yes.
Roy?
Yes.
Tillotson?
Yes.
Zagorowski?
Yes.
McCullough?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Lopez?
Yes.
Valkir?
Yes.
Crumpets?
Yes.
Dobus?
Yes.
Kushein?
Yes.
Labrie?
Yes.
Piniac Costello?
Yes.
13 yes.
And the motion passes. Okay, that's the end of it. Counselor Brooks.
All set.
Thank you. Counselor Lopez.
Thank you. I just want to express my condolences to the family members of those who have died at the hands of senseless drivers, particularly in my ward. I've said this before publicly through Facebook, but I'll say it again. Due to our city experiencing an alarming amount of tragic loss as of late, particularly on our roads, it's up to us to ensure that this does not keep happening. Please be safe, drive safely, look both ways before crossing the road, look out for one another, and please don't drink and drive. The holidays are meant to be celebrated, and unfortunately, there are families out there who will no longer have a family member to celebrate with, and that is disheartening. It is sad. It is in our control as a community to make sure that we keep each other safe. We would not want one of our family's members gone during this holiday season or ever. And my hearts are with the family family and friends that have been impacted by these senseless deaths. This is preventable. This is completely in our control, and it's very sad. I hope that the increase of public safety, particularly in my ward, will deter some of that. And I'm hoping to see some more plan and action from our mayor's office and the chief and everyone working in partnership, the chief of police and everyone working in partnership to ensure that this does not keep happening. My ward particularly, I will be putting some motions on the floor to increase pedestrian safety in the ways that I know how to or that I think would work. But at the core, this really is about each other. We can keep each other accountable, and we can make sure that this does not keep happening. Please drive like your children are out there. Drive like it's your family member who's crossing the street, your family member that's driving next to you. Because unfortunately, even when we're the drivers, we cannot control what other drivers are doing around us. So please, please drive safely this holiday season and beyond. Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Kushein. Thank you. Counselor Zagorowski.
I'd just like to make a few comments. I spoke to the chief of police today and to the traffic division. They've given out the month of October 460 citations. The month of November alone, 553 citations. That's a total of 1,013 tickets inside of 2 months. The patrol division is out there, the traffic division is out there, the officers are doing something. So for the people that don't think they're doing anything, this reflects, I get a report from them monthly of what's going on. And I gotta remind people, slow down. That's the best way I can give you. Everybody's rushing to get from one red light to another red light. If you see something going on, don't be afraid to call the Traffic Division, 594-1639. Thank you.
Thanks. Councilor Bellacare.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. First of all, again, I want to start off with thanking the healthcare workers for the great job they're doing during this COVID crisis. We're having another wave of COVID situations, so please get your vaccination shots if you haven't. And also please get your flu shots as well, because now that the weather is changing, people are going inside, they're not spending time outdoors, they're congregating. This problem is rearing its ugly head again, unfortunately. I do want to mention also the Ukraine crisis. This is an extremely dangerous situation. Please pray for peace if possible, and please donate to a local organization as well if you can. Speeding has been referenced. Again, this is a problem not only in our community, but in other communities as well. I have met with the chief regarding my ward. We have discussed some different options, some issues. There has been increased speed patrols and speed trailers in the Springfield Street area. So we are hopeful that that's going to help as well. And a final note, I do want to thank everyone regarding the tree lighting event. That was really a nice way to segue into the holiday season, and everybody involved did a great job. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Tillotson.
I just want to thank everybody. I miss being at the regular meeting, but I hope to be back soon. I just got out of the hospital about 3 days ago, so I'm on the mend. I hope people will drive carefully. I mean, it's the holiday season, it's Christmas season, when we forget what it's really all about, to keep Christ in our planning, and consequently, we go out and we overdrink and we overeat and we don't really take care of ourselves, and then we get into these problems that were discussed already. So I'm hoping that people will be smart enough this year, if they go to a party, and if you can't, and if you've had too much to drink, take a cab or have a friend take you home. Don't try to drive when you shouldn't be driving, because that's just looking for trouble. Again, I miss my colleagues, and I hope to be back soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor LaBrie.
Yes, I want to thank Senator Lesser for his kind words to our committee. I also want to thank him for his 8 years of service. I know he'll be back in some form, one way or another. And yeah, I wish people would slow down. I wish people would, stop drinking and driving. We're not the only community that sees this, but, let's do something about it. And I've already talked to the DPW, today, and, to see if we can do some additional things in Aldenville in my ward. But, we need to do it throughout the whole city. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Roy.
Yes, echoing what my fellow councilors have said about speed, please slow down and respect our neighborhoods. And this is your city. Take pride in it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Crampets.
Yeah, I too wanted to thank Senator Lesser for his public service, and we appreciate all that he did for us. I also wanted to take a moment to thank the custodial staff at City Hall, and also Councilor Ballakir. After last week's zoning subcommittee meeting, there was a flurry of paperwork that had come out of one of the recycling bins. So there were hundreds of pieces of paper that were covering our parking lot. And I think the expression is many hands make quick work. So the custodial staff came out, Councilor Ballakir and I, so we were able to get those hundreds of pieces of paper that were all over the parking lot picked up and put back in. And also the gentleman that was here that night that greets people as they come into the door was also helping us. So kudos to them for helping out. It cleaned up a big mess pretty quick, so thank you to them.
Councilor Costello.
Thank you. I agree with Councilor Lopez. I want to offer my condolences to the victims that were fatally killed in traffic accidents. And I agree with Councilor Lopez. This has to stop. This has to stop. Sometimes people have an attitude about them when they drive. They don't have patience, and I believe Councilor Zagorowski stated that a couple of meetings ago. They don't have patience for the school buses. Well, I'll take the chance. You can't. You can't. You have to learn to behave properly so that speeding does not exist. It's not about convenience. It's about safety. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor DeBus.
Yeah, I agree with what was said from Councilor Costello and Councilor Lopez. 2 pedestrian deaths in a week is too much to handle. I want to remind my constituents too about this potential development where the Deegan's restaurant used to be, just so the public is aware. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. I'll take a motion to adjourn. Motion made and seconded to adjourn. Roll call, please.
President Laflamme.
Yes.
Roy.
Yes.
Tillotson.
Yes.
Zagorowski.
Yes.
McCullough.
Out of chair.
Brooks.
Yes.
Lopez.
Yes.
Valkir.
Yes.
Crumpets.
Yes.
Dovas.
Yes.
Kushein.
Yes.
Labrie.
Yes.
Piniac Costello.
Yes.
12 yes, 1 out of chair.
See you later, folks.